Hello and welcome to the new Fringe podcast. On today's episode, we have the returning Kyle Burton, who's going to play host, allowing me to speak more openly and freely without worrying about carrying the conversation on my mental health and sanity over the past year, which has sadly took a bit of a downfall. I've managed to conclude roughly 11 to 14 points of reasons where I think my mental health and sanity has gone downhill. We don't get through them all in the podcast, but even by saying that, there's more than 14 points. I would say factor-wise there's at least 50 to 100, some environmental, some socially. I think some have always been there before COVID. I think some have been amplified through COVID. So this is a serious episode. Previous episodes maybe were a little more jolly, but this is the one what I had a lot of anxiety to do, because I'm being as honest as I can. I think that's how we all heal, and I think that's how we learn. We sort of need that honest voice, even if it's sometimes wrong, because I think subjects can strangely be misguided in the fact the things we really need to talk about are often uncomfortable areas, what we don't like about ourselves. So to actually explore those ideas, there is a fear factor, and I have developed some major anxieties of just even leaving the house. So it was actually hard to get down to the studio today just to record this. But in the end, it's one of those things where I had overthought it, and as soon as we got talking, an hour into it, I've aired out a lot of my grievances. So I left feeling a lot more positive about life, which is what we can do with these podcasts. Add a new voice, keep different perspectives, and always challenge the narrative. All right, so enjoy. We've got Kyle Burton hosting, and then Sophia Rafferty, who was on the first episode, my partner in crime. She's back again as well. And then obviously we got Peter on the decks recording the sound, and he also has some philosophical views what he chips in with later on. Enjoy. Do you think it's getting hard to come outside? It's just me.
Hey, recently, these past couple of weeks with weather, my sinuses have been all over the shop because it's been freezing, so I've got a bit of a cold, and then it started getting red hot, so now I'm getting more hay fever. Yeah. I'm like,
No, but I mean, just because we've all been locked away for so long.
Oh.
It's just to actually want to go out and do something.
Yeah. To be fair, I am one of those people where even in lockdown I went out every day. I didn't meet people, but I went on a walk every day, mate. Well, just to do something.
Well, we tried to go on car trips and just go to the shop and do.
I know there's very little you could do, because even me when I went on a walk, it's not as if I can really do out while on the walk kind of thing. But it wouldn't be that long either. I'd only go on a 20-30 minute walk and then just go home, just change the scenery and a bit of fresh air.
Yeah.
I actually swear down, air felt weirder back in lockdown when you actually went outside.
Yeah, no,
it was an alien world.
No, because I don't know about you, but I've always been living in my head. So this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So when it actually happened, and then you go out, it's almost like you're living a fictional.
Yeah, it really is. You're walking outside, even though you've seen everything a million times. It was just weird.
People are different.
Yeah, I literally walked out, and then there's the bus stop, and there's all this grass. I was like, that grass looks weird today. Obviously it's just same grass. It was just strange. Even the air felt weird. Just walking outside.
Yeah.
Just because weirdly, everyone's don't go outside. Obviously, in the respect of that, you just couldn't interact with people, could you? But just going outside just because everyone's staying inside was just weird. I did see a couple of people on my walks bump into them, but not obviously close.
Yeah. What was nice about it?
Well, there's no people around.
That was true. For 2 weeks it was fun to walk around.
To be fair, me and my mate Richard kept saying at some point people are going to get too bored and things are going to start happening. We were waiting for that to happen.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It never did.
Well, it never did, which I was really
I'm surprised there wasn't
surprised
riots
at.
and stuff.
Yeah, because nowadays, like someone could I don't know, release new McDonald's burger and they'll start a riot over it, won't they? Like, it's anything to set people off.
Are we recording? Alright.
Whoa.
Alright, so I wrote 14 points.
Right.
We don't have to get from all today, because I know we'll like waffle on 1 point for like half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I bet some points they'll probably take a bit more, you know.
I think some will overlap as well.
Yeah.
There's basically 14 things what are ruining my life.
Oh,
No, but I think everybody will be able to relate to them in some way.
Oh,
So I think
yeah.
we can go for like a universal theme.
Well, number 14 is on its own page or on its own.
Yeah, I know. I did the double space thing.
Mm.
I was going to put it all in one block. And I was like, nah, I'll space it out. Give them room to breathe.
Are they big questions?
Well, not the big questions, but... Alright, so the first one is I've developed this like OCD of checking like messages on my phone.
I think everyone does that, to be fair.
I don't know if it's like been heightened through COVID, or it's like I don't know if it's just our generation's just gonna eventually it's just gonna get worse and worse for us, because there's that addiction to scrolling, isn't there? And we talk about being on YouTube too much, scrolling through just nonsense. Is that gonna get worse?
I reckon it probably could, to be fair. Like, obviously nowadays a lot of things you can do on the phone. I mean, even like, for example, you know how you've got obviously filmmakers, you've got people making films on phones now, editing films on phones now. Everything's becoming more mobile, and like technology on the go. Everyone's got it on a watch. People will be having it in the friggin' eyes and ears and all sorts next. You can eye smell or something, you know.
On the end of the shoe.
Yeah,
What's
the eye toe.
Yeah.
On your toenail.
Yeah, but the other day I was walking from the kitchen. I was watching something on YouTube. And I was walking from the kitchen, watching it on my phone. And I remember seeing that advert at the cinema. If you know what I'm talking about, the guy walks out the house eating a
slice of pizza.
Yeah, I was like, oh, because I would sit in the crowd like heckling that advert.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at you stupid idiots.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing.
And then you're the guy doing it. Yeah. Without realising. No, like, I would say though, especially through COVID, because obviously, another thing with that, I think, with COVID, to kind of not go against that point, but, you know, like, both ways, is people who would be very in-person social, then obviously had to transition to texting people a lot. And obviously, I bet if, you know, you're meeting people in person more than talking to them on the phone, and then you're talking to them on the phone more than meeting them in person, you're probably going to have that weird check-in, seeing if they're talking to you, because you're not having that interaction. I've
never looked at it like that. I actually think that's on the nail.
Yeah, but like, I think equally as well though, all those people, you know, because obviously again we live in a day and age where like technology is quite big, people like online gaming and talking to each other through stuff like that. There has been quite, I'd say, less people actually being outdoors in general. But I think in a strange turn of events, a majority of those people since the lockdown, even though they didn't go out before, then they got told they couldn't go out, they wanted to go out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got that weird, you can't tell me what to do mentality in your head, like when you're in school and they're like, don't sit there, and you're like, I'll sit here then. And you're like, you know, not in like a riot kind of way, or, you know, in like a bad like way, but I do think it is probably taking a lot more people out, because again, from me like going on walks and stuff, in general, I've actually now seen a lot more people out and about than I normally would a couple of years ago. Do you know what I mean? And I'm walking the same places. You know, I'm going down the same routes. There's a lot more youth. Weirdly, I know you'd expect them to be out a lot more, but again, like, you know, with gaming and stuff, that's kept a lot of people in recent years. I
was talking about the other day that like I think I had like the last childhood, the last proper.
Yeah, like our kind of maybe. What I'd say till about people maybe born in maybe 2002 at the very maximum are the probably last people to actually be outdoorsy kind of people. Yeah.
That's what we're supposed
or like 2000. You know, I'd say 2000 then.
We're supposed to be the S Club generation, but we've just become really depressed. I was listening to one of the S Club songs the other day. I was like, this is so cheerful, and we had such like high hopes for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like
maybe that's why I was so depressed. Expectations.
Yeah, expectations from the songs.
Because the lyrics are
They
like,
lied to me.
the lyrics are like reach, just do what you want, have your
Reach the
identity.
stars, yeah.
Yeah, and then
And then you reach them and you get burnt.
now we're all like nihilistic and just like miserable. And, but it's this fear of like, Sophia will see me do it. I just start checking all my messages randomly.
Do you get like what I like to call a phantom vibration, where you feel like your phone's going off?
Yeah, I
But
get it all
it's
the
just
time.
not. Like
it could even be a friend. So
Yeah.
I could just be messaging Sophia at work. The conversation's gone dead for a few hours, and
yeah,
I'd be sat there like, oh, maybe she's messaged me now.
Yeah.
She hasn't,
yeah,
but then I look at it and there's nothing there. And I think because in COVID there was so many like deals I was getting involved with or weren't going anywhere.
yeah,
So it was just getting more and more discouraging because you'll set something up with somebody and you'd be like, okay, so this week I'm just going to do this.
yeah,
And then that would never happen because of the situation everybody was in.
yeah.
And then I lost a whole week.
Yeah, because you're like obviously waiting about and stuff as well.
So
aren't
I've become absolutely like paranoid by emails.
you? Yeah,
Like if an email comes now, and it's positive,
yeah,
I think it's too good to be true. So I was telling like Peter, we got some like promotional boxing tickets,
yeah,
right?
That's cool.
Perfectly fine. And this is so true. I just could not like.
We feel like there's something.
Well, so I am lazy as well.
yeah,
I'm not gonna like. I'm not a person to claim coupons or.
yeah,
Or if you say it's 15% off and you got to go onto the website, I just won't do it.
yeah, yeah.
But this was just like something else. Like,
Well, you feel like there were a catch to it.
yeah, even my friends, right, who've been messaging me, right, I started thinking, what are they trying to play me?
Yeah,
I've never like, I've usually like, I don't really care what anybody does. But I think because I was just like in lockdown, locked in this room, I didn't really have. I think what you were saying earlier is spot on as well. I didn't really have like the ability to, because I used to do like meetings face to face. Like I'd ring somebody, let's go to a cafe, let's talk about what we want to do. But when you don't have that,
yeah. It's hard to articulate I think anyway over text and stuff.
How can you explain something?
Emails always sound like angry.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So my friends,
It's hard to write email without sounding like a complete bitch.
my friend would send me something, like, and I would think, what's their angle?
Yeah.
Like, what does that
Don't
mean?
read into it too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
And that's like, but it's become quite compulsive now. Like even if I try, I'm thinking of getting 2 phones, so like a burner phone, one for like just emails, and then I'm thinking of hiding that in my room and only checking it every now and again instead of just like getting my phone.
Another one that's pure just calls and text.
Yeah.
You can do
Yeah.
that much on your phone now. It's kind of like, I kind of see my phone like as a little computer or something.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't want any messages or emails or calls or anything to come to that phone because like it's interrupting me. Like I'm not trying to pick up my phone and like text people.
But
I'm just like reading something or whatever.
But we've had like a lot of bad luck. Like every phone call we've had this year has been us in trouble for something. So it's like from landlords trying to like skim us for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
From like our houseboat just in jeopardy. So like it's just, even this morning there's like, we're in trouble for something, aren't we? So yeah, for the boat.
Oh yeah.
We basically left the boat. You can only leave a canal boat in one place for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then we got an email this morning saying it's been there for like 3 weeks. It's been there too long. So yeah, I just feel I think it all stems back from school.
Yeah.
Because I was always in trouble at school, and you know that like my mum's got like a tone how she calls my voice, and even now it scares me.
Yeah.
There's just like a certain way she will say Aron.
Yeah.
Aron, and I'll go back to being
You
a
go
kid
back to
again.
being 4 years old.
And I think there's something in that. Like this is why I can't. I just fear. I fear something happening what I can't handle. And I'm gonna get an email soon that's gonna be like copyright scares me.
Yeah,
Like, it's
same with like beats in a way, with sampling certain
Cause
things.
I've got like so many songs on like films, and like one day, like they're all like cleared,
Yeah,
but I'm like one day.
someone could just turn around, or anything could just happen with it. Yeah, especially with people buying, it's like obviously like people like Michael Jackson obviously bought all rights to like Beatles music and that.
People can do that.
Yeah, but like in that, I'm pretty sure I read something with him doing that. Certain things then had to again pay for it or pay some other weird fee or something, because then he owned it, because it like a turning of hands kind of thing. So it's like that initial deal they made then is invalid or something, because then it's a new person who owned it also. It was something like that on I don't know if it were a film or like this weird TV show that just had one of their songs in it, and they had to like stop airing it for a bit until they repaid this weird new debt off or something. Can't remember what it was though, to be honest, but
I think it was like People Do Nothing. Like it was a nightmare to try and get some like the old
I bet
like grime songs and stuff from like the 90s. But yeah, I've also got this like this second thing. I did like a cheeky little glance at my notes.
Very sweet.
Even though on the camera it's gonna be super obvious.
Yeah.
That I had a little look. But there's this like need, right? This is just maybe for me that I've got to be super impressive all the time. Like I can never, if I'm meeting somebody new, I can never be vulnerable or honest. I've always got to like front, and I think it comes from like the CV generation of like my parents always tell me to put the best thing on your CV and stuff like that. Yeah. Like when I go meet somebody, I always feel like I've got to bury them in like what I'm doing in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be seen to not be like going on a trip somewhere or not. Even I get worried, right, doing nothing for a day.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I can't tell somebody I've done nothing for a day because it just seems super lazy.
Yeah.
So it's just like this paranoia that I'm just always wasting my time.
I can kind of get what you mean. Obviously, when you meet someone for the first time, I think in any sense, everyone kind of tries to like sell themselves as the best version of themselves, because obviously, you know, that's the part of yourself that you want people to like, isn't it? You know what I mean? So like, again, obviously, like you were saying with CV, you wouldn't go into a job and be like, oh, my skills are sitting and playing Fallout 3 for 12 hours every day.
That's a callback.
Yeah. But that's my skill. But obviously, like, I think for a majority of people, though, especially if then, like, you're in a sense of... I bet, in a strange way, there's a strangely more paranoia around that if you know that you're going to be meeting this person multiple times, as opposed to, like, you know, if it's just, say, like, a meeting or an interview or something like that, you know, where you're going to meet them that one time, have that little discussion and thingy. But if you know you're meeting them a few times, like, you're probably going to put on that, like, bravado, you know what I mean? Like,
you lied to me when we first met.
Didn't.
So Sophia says that she lived in Manchester.
yeah.
And then I was like...
Well, I thought you lived in Manchester.
One of us mentioned we lived in Manchester.
Alright, I'm sorry, but I don't understand the logic of, if he lived in Manchester, you should say you lived in Manchester too.
Because...
If you didn't, that's going to be really awkward if you want to see each other.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think you felt like you'd never... If you lived in like London, you'd never to come here. So he was like, oh, I live in Manchester, it's fine, we'll work something out.
But and you just have to like, every weekend run up to Manchester to live
just
there.
pretend to live there.
Oh yeah, I'm just going shopping.
No, to be fair though, actually, you was actually really honest with me, like when you first met.
I think when I meet people, I actually do the opposite. I like downplay myself to be more relatable.
That's true.
Because if I'm doing like, I don't know, something a little bit out of the ordinary, like living on a boat, I don't like to bring that up straight away, because then people are like,
freak the fuck
she's
out.
She's a bit different. I'm like, just doesn't
like,
need to be that.
People got to understand,
you
right?
You can't say anything about the otter.
We got the boat because we're basically broke. It's like it's the only place we can live.
We're not just trying to be indie.
Yeah,
we can't afford a house.
We can't afford the house. So when you bring it up, people are like, oh, it's so cool, I'd love to live in the nature. I'm like, nah.
We don't have a house, actually. Can't afford it.
But no, but you get it worse because when people find out Sophia's a vet, I see it all the time. When we walking a dog. They ask Sophia vet questions about the dog, and she can't tell just by looking at a dog what's wrong with it. Or
you got to get it on the table, haven't you? Dissect it.
I don't know. Or they just look at you different, or say something like, "Oh, you must be really smart," and I'm like,
but
"What do you say to that?" Like,
but
well,
no.
Actually, pretty ditzy, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're one of those people maxed out, or you're like perched in one place.
Yeah.
Like you put all your knowledge in one area.
Yeah, I know how to be a vet, but anything else, I'm a fucking idiot.
But yeah, I think like when I do something, I'm really happy about it. it's never enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's so dangerous. Like, I can't just like, I think you'll get this because you do so many instrumentals, but I can't just do like one film or one.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I sit there. You've always weirdly got to be in the mood for it, though, haven't you? You can't like just do it.
I always say you can't be too happy or you can't be too sad.
No.
You got to be sort of balanced.
But then it's like a lot of mine, though. It's like it's weirdly out of a strange necessity to make them. Like, I've just got to the point where it's like sometimes I'll sit there and I'll start thinking of something. It's like I either make this now or I'll forget it and I'll never be able to make it. And then I make it, and then something else will come into my head. I'm like, oh, I may as well just do that as well. And then I come back next day and I listen to them again. I was like, wow, I just wasted so much time doing that.
The thing is, well, it could actually be really good. I've done things that are really good, and I've hated them.
Yeah.
And other people are like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But to your like inner like standard, it's just not. It is it. Like I've got countless things that I've done where I'm like.
I was watching like Ozzy Osbourne like react to some of his music, and he hated seeing himself perform. Yeah. And I had exactly the same thing. Like if my film gets screened, I literally just look at the floor with anxiety.
Yeah,
even if it's perfectly fine, I'm just like I think it is like imposter syndrome. I can't believe I've done that thing.
Because you might like look at it again and you're like, I want that different. I want that a tiny little bit different or something.
Nobody sees it.
Yeah,
you
do, but nobody else does. Yeah.
If you listen to a piece of music, you don't hear what the musician hears.
No, yeah, exactly.
If you watch like a film, you don't see that cut what I hate, but nobody.
It's like it's like you can do it to a Lego set, but you can't do it to anything else. Like you can build it up how you want it. And you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to change that. And you can just change it though, can't you?
Yeah.
But, you know.
I think you've got sort of the same, because I've never heard you ever happy about like a vet job. Like you've never helped the patient and like.
Always could have done something better.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to start you off talking about something so then I could look at my notes.
Oh, right.
And it's just like one sentence.
Did I not talk enough?
Right, the second one, right, third one, sort of goes against the second one.
Right.
I don't know if it's just like living here, but I've got like a complete rejection to fame or like blowing up or like anything where I'm like feel like I'm better than somebody else. Yeah. I just completely reject it.
See, for me in that respect, if I, somehow, I don't know, like Kanye West walks in the room, he's like, those instrumentals, you're famous now. I'd go, right, make the instrumentals famous, but I myself don't want to be. I want what I make to be the thing, not me. I want the art separated from me, Like, I wouldn't want people like coming up to me and all that kinds of things. It's like, yeah, you could ask me questions on the things that I've done or whatever, but like it's down to you how you enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I've made that, and then it's down to you to how you enjoy it. Like,
but it's weird because we're working on things what could potentially actually get us like famous. The things that people care a lot about, but like the idea, I always feel as well like I've sold out somewhere. Like even basic things. It's like I was telling Sophia the other day, it's why I always try and wear Adidas. Like I just don't want to suddenly turn up wearing some ridiculous outfit, like thinking I'm like it. Yeah. If you know what I mean, I've always feel like I've got to downplay it because that's me. But then when you see other people, this is my biggest thing with like YouTube, right? I feel like I could do something really interesting on YouTube that nobody's doing. But because of how the platform is and because of how everybody's using it to
watch cat videos.
Yeah, no, they're using it in like a certain way. They're all the same. If they're doing a vlog, they're putting a voice on, or they're talking about things that people think they want to hear about.
Do you not find as well? It's like one person will have made this format of doing it. Like I've seen it. Like I don't.
And they copy it.
Yeah, but it's always that weird quick cut stuff as well, where they say like about 4 words and then it cuts to one and they're over here, then they're over here.
It's irritating, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, because everyone's just the same. Like nobody's actually really doing anything, and then everyone in that respect is trying to outdo each other, like donating a Bugatti to a homeless person or something ridiculous like that. And it's like, it's
like the people that make videos and other people that don't like to trash them. It's like I hate the ones where they're punched down. It's like I think you should punch up to somebody else, but after a while, it's like, hang on, your whole content is just you dissing other people. Yeah. You're not actually doing anything yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have this like fear. I know if I was to go on YouTube and do something, it would be so much better for me. Like I don't have any social media. I know it would probably open so many doors, but I just can't do it. Like I just the thought of like waking up and trying to do a vlog, or trying to do, I just like seize up. But then when you, cause like the independent film seems like dying.
Yeah.
So the thing I want to do is just like shrinking,
Yeah.
and then everything else is growing. And I would like to try and do something interesting with that, but it's like, is there even a market for that? And I do occasionally see some really cool content on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I think of that? So
it's far and few nowadays, isn't it, on there? Because everyone's just whatever the next trend is, and they're doing it, aren't they?
But the hypocritical thing is, I watch this stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not. I hate the stuff I watch. Like me and Sophia hate some vloggers, but we will sit and watch them just to get annoyed.
Yeah.
It's just
No, I can get
that
that.
is you as well. I was asleep the other day, and to try and wake me up, you was putting like an annoying vlog on.
Yeah, because that's what would annoy you to wake you up.
Oh.
Just people talking about absolutely nothing.
That's what I mean. It's like, in that respect, for some of them, I can understand why people could watch something like that where it's just someone, the day-to-day life. But like, there's so much more you could do in that, in the respect of like that platform. It's like so many things you could be talking about. There's so many places you could. Like even just interesting things to show off, as apart from my kitchen redone last week. Do you want to see it, everyone? And they go around it, and
There's
you're like, oh wow.
so many millions of videos on YouTube of girls showing what they ate, what I eat in a day, full day of eating. Like, why are we watching this?
Yeah. Well,
why do we care what somebody that we don't know ate today?
Like I'll take a picture of like some food I like. I'm not gonna lie, I'll do that, but I'm not gonna like tweet about it or post it out. I might send it to a friend.
On Yelp.
Yeah, I'll send it to a friend like, oh, check this out, I'm doing that. Because like it's nice to have like a visual aid. I'm like, oh, check, I'm doing this.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't like nationally post it like, I'm eating whatever bacon.
Everyone come down, I'm here right now.
Yeah. but
we all know what Aron likes to sing randomly.
What? Jelly.
Yeah. Bastard. I was in the shop and they sent me some rat jelly shit.
Oh yeah. I wonder why you haven't. No, right.
Food pictures aren't eye quirky.
I was wondering when like Pete was going to bring, because you didn't reply to the messages.
No,
basically, I seen like
right next to an old woman and she'll.
I basically like found the most like ridiculous anime porn I could find. I literally typed in crazy anime porn and I just sent it to Peter.
Remember this old lady's like right next to me.
Oh, you're helping her get some off the shelf.
I'm like
Yeah, do your
picking
phone.
up some bread and I like click on it because I'm not like registering what it is until I click on it.
Yeah.
And then it opens and what the fuck?
Really? Somebody see it?
No, she didn't see it.
I wish
you would have loved that.
Full volume.
it might have changed my life.
You silly old boy.
Big tentacle flies out of his screen.
It's my favourite thing to do, send like horrific porn to people. But I try and disguise the link. You know that like thing you can disguise the link.
Yeah.
But it started disguising it to look. It was like it shrunk it to like 5 letters,
Right.
so it was obvious like it was dodgy. And then I was like, can I just send like an 80-year-old woman just having sex to my friend? And it could just be in the middle of the conversation. I think I sent it to you once. And I'll just be like, oh, here, check this out. and then, like, I think it's like some wacky meme or something.
Yeah.
But it's just
That was funny, though.
That's one.
Alright, so number 4 is just like a distrust of people. So I'm starting to... I've had like a lot of people in my life recently, what... I think it's like a Donald Trump thing. It's like he looks quite cute and cuddly and quite fun.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't actually want to work with him or actually like be around him.
Yeah, you won't want to be in a room with him.
So there's
I've never heard him described as cute and cuddly and fun.
what was playing from my head was there's a like a gif of him dancing.
I get what you mean. He's a bit of a meme, isn't he? That's what you mean.
He
Isn't
looks
he?
He's
harmless,
a pastiche
sort
man.
of.
He's not actually like.
He's a man of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a version of him where it's just like so. I think it's why he got voted in, because he was so ridiculous and counterculture kicked over.
Well, it's like the things he says. He's don't necessarily take everything serious, which I think in respect for people like that goes a long way when they're not just monotony.
Yeah.
When they can actually. That's another reason why I think Obama actually got in as well, because he actually just did have a laughing off the things that he were
No, it's true.
saying and stuff like that. But I get what you mean with him, like, because he's got the gift of the gaff, and
Well-
like he's a proper salesman. He knows how to get people invested in what he's saying. Like,
I guess not cute and cuddly, but just like not imposing.
yeah.
He's just not like when you see him, you just like there's a bit you have a bit of empathy for him.
Yeah, he's just a fat old man, isn't he?
and there's so many people.
Fat orange old man.
There's so many people that have been in my life recently who I had the same thing with. Like they've come into my life and I'm like, this guy's all right. He's shown me some vulnerability.
Yeah.
He's cool to hang around with. He's got similar interests. And what I realised doing, they're basically just forging himself into a version of what I think I want as a friend. And then this has happened so many times. I think like even as far back as like last year when the only person in this room, well, Peter knows who I'm talking about, but somebody I used to work with went down for sexual misconduct, really bad.
Wow.
Like it was like 11 girls came out, and
Jesus.
and it put obviously I just had to cut him off as
Yeah,
like a friend,
yeah.
but it was like all like history just gone, and like I always thought there was something off about him, but I never thought it would be that, and that was like. That was the first time where it's like, because when you're trying to like live your life, you don't want any of this shit to happen.
No, you don't want anything near you, your family, friends, or anything.
Yeah.
Do you? You want it to literally be tabloid, don't
Yeah.
you? You don't as much. Obviously, you don't want it to happen to those people either. But you want it to just be tabloid and not anything that's direct.
You start to think like, why is this happening to me? Like
Yeah.
out of like 100 people, like because there's 100 like people I could have worked with, but I chose this guy. We basically started together and we did like all my first films we worked on together, and I built trust for this person, and I thought he was an interesting character, and then something did happen, and that's why I stopped talking to him.
Yeah.
But it was tame,
Right.
and then I felt like people were getting annoyed at me because I gave him the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the full.
Yeah. There's that aspect
the
to
full
it.
story.
Yeah.
So I think it's gone as far as court now, and like police.
Wow.
I've written.
Well, it should. You know what I mean?
I've
Like-
written the statement. Like I've said what I can, but also the second thing is like this is completely selfish, but it's like all that early work as well. It's
Yeah.
like I can't really look at it the same way.
Yeah, exactly, because they're like associated to it.
And then it happened again, start of this year. I've had to like cut somebody completely out of a film who this was no misconduct. This was just somebody very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, just conflicting.
Yeah.
Exposing himself for being a piece of shit.
Yeah, like he basically made himself like obsessed with Bob Dylan.
Right.
And he basically made himself as if he was like Bob Dylan, like the reincarnation. So I, instantly start vibing with this guy.
Yeah.
And then so we'll be working on things together, and then slowly he just starts aggressively texting me things. So I'll be like, oh, how about we put like a GoPro on like the end of the guitar, and we film a music video like that. And then he'll be like, that idea's shit. And I'll be like, whoa, like where's that come from? Like a minute ago we're just talking nicely, and because Sophia, I was really good friends with this guy. Like it's one of those
It
things.
was like
where,
a bromance.
Yeah.
See, like that, in that respect, saying something like that, you can only say that to someone that you've literally, like, that are like a best mate, really. If you in that respect,
Yeah,
of,
but,
like,
but it
you
wasn't
wouldn't
like
say that.
it wasn't like obviously it's a constructive thing where like, oh, I don't really like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you wouldn't
this
go
was,
about saying
this
it
was
like
more
that.
like, oh, I don't think you should have that
Oh,
authority to do that.
Right.
Like this was like, this has already been done before. Somebody's already done this. It didn't work. I think you're barking at the wrong tree. And I was like, hold on, who's done this before? Like,
Yeah.
like and it was also that this person had no leg to stand on either. So there's coming out, and then it's happened again later in the year, but this time it was like a group of people. So it's gone from like last year dealing with just like somebody's misconduct, then befriending somebody who's like completely untrustworthy, and then dealing with a gang of people, and also the outside influence as well. And Sophia will be able to explain this a bit better, but you have your friends saying to this person's cool. Like you got Sophia saying to me, this person you're friends with is a really cool guy.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
And then that convinces me as well.
Yeah, in your head, doesn't it?
This
like,
guy must be a
from
cool
association, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
But then, to be fair, when I met him, I thought like
well, Sophia, as
there
soon as
was
she,
something a bit off.
Well, I always do this thing where like I always try and take a friend, or just if I'm meeting somebody completely new, and it's a working relationship, I always like somebody else to be there. So if I don't see something, like the other person can whisper to me, that person's a bit off, Aaron. Like, don't, because it's the thing. I'm just attracted to dangerous people. I want to be friends with drug dealers. Like I'm at the moment, I'm like texting like a bank robber. Yeah. Like I'm trying to get on the podcast.
That's pretty cool, to be fair.
No, but it's true, and that also goes back to school as well. Like I was just attracted to anybody in the class who would be a bit destructive. Yeah. Even though I'm not a destructive person myself.
But it's like it creates that like that atmosphere of, I don't know, like a mischievous atmosphere is a fun atmosphere. Like you can't deny it, can you? Like if you're doing something you know you're not supposed to be doing, it's fun. Like it is, isn't it? Like because you know you're not supposed to be doing the thing. Obviously, there's. You're not supposed to be sending porn to me.
But the thing is, these people are potentially dangerous. Like,
not,
I don't mean dangerous in like criminal. I just mean they're just dangerous personalities. Yeah. And you like, there's a point just up until I met Sophia, where all my friends were like, just not good people, and they're sort of unbalanced. There was like not toxic, but just not really like.
No, I get what you mean. Like, I'm not knocking certain individuals, but we used to have like quite a massive like friendship group, and then like half of us kind of wanted to start doing one thing, you know, with like the music, and then other people, you know, just weren't so interested. But that's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But just in through that, like, it just kind of drifted apart. But like. Then, you know, in doing that and then randomly bumping into people, you know, that you used to hang about with, and then you start seeing things you didn't see, you know, before, because you haven't hung around with them in that long, and you're not in that kind of setting where it's, you know, like you're in someone's house and you're having like an house party or whatever. Obviously, it's a different vibe to just being in conversation with someone, isn't it, that you haven't seen in so long. But like, in respects of like being thing with people, it's like I think I've got quite a close-knit like friendship group now. Like I know for a fact that any of them would like take a bullet for me, and I'd do the same for them. But for me, I'm more wary of just everyone else. Like literally just everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I walk past someone in the street, I get paranoid straight away. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you think they're like just
anyone at any point, anywhere. That's why I don't like walking around town really. Because I just feel as if at any point just someone's just going to do something just because of just how it is, you know what I mean?
If someone says something nice to you, like oh, it's okay, love, like, no problem, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Someone was actually nice to a stranger?
That's part of your London...
No,
maybe.
That's part of being a girl as well, because, like, any guy, I've said this before, like, I'll use Sophia's name just to light a fire. So say if I go downstairs, my parents are like, I'll say, oh, I need to get something to eat, and they're like, oh, we'll just be half an hour. I'm like, oh, Sophia wants something to eat as well. They'll be like, all right, we'll go now then.
Didn't know I was being used like this.
Yeah, and I think guys are like really polite to like women because of the sexual the thing.
I don't know. Some people are quite aggressive to me, like at work.
Oh, there's definitely some pieces of shit out there.
But I think that's semi-jealousy, because no guy wants a woman to really be smarter than.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that.
So if people come into your vets and like you know more about something than they don't.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I've never really liked like society. Like even when I was at school.
Good Joker face.
Yeah, exactly. Popped in my head. That's the edgiest comment so far.
Even when like I'll be at school. I would just think the system's fundamentally flawed, and then you'd look out on a bigger scale, and then you realise the whole world, everything's flawed. Yeah. Like it's even like this studio as well. The parking's not free anymore. Yeah. Because it's just the world will not let you have free parking. No. Like so, I've just.
Even though there's spots that belong to this building that nobody else needs
Just as a side note, I actually saw a thing that they put in, you can't even drop people off at Heathrow Airport anymore. You've got to pay a £5 just to drop people off.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's mad.
Sounds about right.
That's just absolute madness. That's you pulling up for 5 seconds while people get out your car, grab a suitcase, and then you drive away. You got to pay a £5.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you get a taxi there, you then got to pay another £5.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. That.
Well, it's just like there's just no point having money
I know. There's no point having money because as soon as you got it, it's frigging may as well just shred it.
But even if you get a bit of money as well, you just consume and buy more stuff.
Yeah.
And then you try and live in your means as well.
Yeah.
It's like this 2 years, I've become so lazy and so sweaty.
Oh, same.
I've got holes in my shoes. I've got holes in my trousers. Like
He's a holy guy.
I've just stopped like.
Stop giving a shit.
Like no, but it's not good because like it makes you fall further down the rabbit hole. Like before, I'd be laid back, but I'd make sure like I had my jeans ready for the morning, or I knew where my wallet was, or like. But now like my card's bent, my debit card's bent, and it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like we can't even find clothes, can we?
No.
Like because we moved all the boxes from the old place into my room,
Yeah.
at my parents' house. We can't even find clothes to wear. Like it's just there's so much stuff on top of each other. All
Hot mess, aren't we?
but this is but we just I just need that little bit of just stability.
That little bit of I've always kind of been possibly going back to that OCD thing in a sense, but instead of phone, mine is belongings. It's like I always have to have everything in a certain pocket at all times.
Is it like a neat OCD or like?
Yeah, I'd probably say yeah. Mate, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say my room's like the tidiest, but everything's in a place. Do you know what I mean? Like everything has to be somewhere because if it's not there, then it's not anywhere else. If you get what I mean, like it has to be there.
I used to be like that.
Don't blame me.
So my keys are always in this pocket, no matter what. Wallet's always in there. I know they're kind of like standard places to put them.
Right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, but you see, I have a hole in every single one of my pockets in any jacket here, so I always put everything in the hole in my jacket, so you can't even put your hand in to grab it because it's inside my jacket. Like I'm gonna have to sew it up now. put in this one.
Is that a bit superstition as well? I've got lots of things what I like. I'll tap the shelf before I go to sleep. I've just got weird like.
Well, I lost my keys once when I first started going out, and ever since that day I've never. Because like even though like I went home and I was proper upset about it, like losing the keys, because I was just in my head like anyone could just find them and just unlock my door now. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously they won't know exactly what house, but they've got potential to just go try every house. Like that's the keys are gone, and I felt proper bad about it. My mum and dad were like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. But I was like, no, you don't understand. Like I am really upset about the fact that I've lost them. Like not even to do with like that, but I just didn't like it. Then I almost lost them again. This one time I had a pocket on this jacket here, like a zip pocket, and I went to pub and I was there 3 hours, and I looked at my thing and it were open, and I was like, oh no.
It's gone.
I was like, I went into toilets, went in there. I was like, I had to go to everyone like, right, I'm walking back home where I came here because I can't not. I need the peace of mind. I can't not just sit here now. I have to go and find them. And then luckily they were in the middle of this frigging path, just in the middle of a path.
That's so weird.
Like they'd been there 3 hours as well. No, literally, like there's like a little, you like those weird iron bar things you walk through, and then it was just there. But like you could they were so obviously there though, because it were on a red path. They were in what we call Red Alley, because the path's red. But you could proper see them, because I had loads of key rings on it and stuff. It was just this massive bundle of keys on the floor. And I just thought it was so weird how no one picked them up. Like things like that always get me as well.
That happened to me in Sainsbury's. I dropped like a wood, like it's back when I used to carry cash.
Yeah.
I dropped like 100 out of my pocket. Didn't know about it, and then like just somebody came running down the street like you dropped this, and I was like, so that is the kind of strangers again. Like I've to be fair, I've been quite lucky. I've always like if I've been in like a foreign country, my phone's died. I've had somebody what will charge my phone. So when I say I don't like society, I don't think it's actually people.
It's
I quite
it's
like
the
people.
system that people work within, and then it's what that system does to certain other people, isn't it? Right.
Creates
because
monsters, doesn't it?
there'll always be. Well, I want. You know, like, I mean, even that street over there, I mean, you go on it and there's so many homeless people on it and stuff like that, and then they're all like, I was coming home from, obviously, like, work is on that street, so I see it, but coming home from there, and then you, like, police, like, you're there when you start your shift, and they're there when you finish your shift. You could be on, like, 10 hours, they're just there, and then, like, police go past, they tell them to, like, you know, move on, and it's like, you know, so much money gets put into certain nonsense. It's like, how can you not just sort them out?
It's getting trapped now, isn't it? Because like the jobs that are being created, especially here, are just minimum wage bad jobs.
But it's even things like, you look at train station, they've done all that with waterfall and all that crap. It's like, couldn't they have just made some freaking flats for homeless people or something instead? It's not as if there's abandoned buildings in. I mean, that's over there is abandoned, for example. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many buildings that already exist. You got Old Odeon, that's a massive unused spot, isn't it? You know, there's loads of places, and they own it. So.
But people like in power always.
But they don't want to give out.
They always wonder why everybody's like on drugs.
Yeah.
And the media portrays them as just like being down and out, or like just not good people. But it's like, who could really? I mean, like Amazon. Who could really hack that? Yeah. Like, I know people do, but it's like, I'm seriously starting to think now, should we even get stuff off Amazon anymore?
No, I don't buy things from Amazon.
Because
really.
It's quite. Well, I do because it's just easy.
You see, I do as well. Like, my mum started buying, because they do that thing with Morrison's as well, and you don't have to pay delivery. You get Prime delivery on your grocery shopping.
I usually find everything I buy from Amazon is not like a bit shy.
Yeah, that's true. Clothes aren't good on Amazon.
Oh no, I've never seen just. You know, things, the necessities like Lego sets, earphones, that's all the stuff I get off Amazon.
Yeah, I think my whole like order list is just
I just buy
earphones.
stuff off eBay now. Although even some of the stuff I buy from eBay is like from China, so that's not
I've
really
got
good
quite
either.
a bit of stuff off eBay.
But
I just don't like its tracking system. I think it's a bit busted, me.
I mean, even as myself, like, I it's not that I don't care. It's just like I can't do anything about it, so I won't. It's like I know what's going on with, like, you know, the Afghan stuff.
Yeah.
Anything what's going on, you know, terrorism attacks. I know about it, and obviously I feel complete empathy. But at the end of the day, like, I can't.
Well, it's like
get out of my own
everything
life.
feeds into everything, though, doesn't it? I mean, for example, you won't want rainforest to be cut down, but then again, you got Notepad, innit? You know, just little things. It's just things like that. You know, it is what it is. Like, it's not good, but.
It's hypocrisy, but it's like it's not. You can't help it.
Yeah.
It's
like I know myself, I can't physically go out to that rainforest and stop people from cutting it down. And even if I could, like, I myself wouldn't be able to do anything. I'd get either ripped apart by a jaguar or crushed by a digger.
You, to be honest.
Well, yeah, exactly. They just put him in paper as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fifth thing I want to talk about is this is more like a social thing right now. It's how one thing, so like one narrative, can be two things, but it's always getting portrayed as like one thing. So even in my own social groups, if I'm like, I don't want to go out or I don't want to do this thing, people already start thinking what that reason is. Yeah. But it could just be a reason of just like,
you just can't be asked.
I can't be. Not even that. I just like, there's a thing where like when you're younger, you have so much free time, and then when you get older, like, you're
just finding time, aren't you?
Yeah. So like, I wish I could like go out more with people.
Yeah.
But I just can't. And obviously, like when you're in relationships when you're younger, like, you can go out more with people. Yeah. But now we're like in a proper relationship. Like, it's hard.
Attached to the hip.
Yeah, it's harder for me to get like that time to go out.
But I don't think we mind if each other goes out, but...
No, we don't, but...
We just want to stay at home and hang out with each other.
Yeah, it was just... Obviously, there's no worry with that, but I'm just... People start suspecting things about you.
Yeah, like, or they might think, like, you're being off or something. Like, I've done it a few times. Like, people know me, I'm not that much into, like, you know, going to a pub or whatever. I don't mind it, but, you know, like...
Well, that's because you work in one. And
yeah.
When you work in one, you don't want to... I could not... When I used to bartend, I could not watch somebody else bartend.
That's what I mean. Like, it's weirdly, in a strange way, like, it kind of just put me off. just drinking, because you see some people in certain states, and then obviously I've been in states before as well, but like it's like everyone might go out or something, and then I'm just like, no, I'm just not feeling it, and they're like, oh, you're alright, kind of thing, which is like fair enough, obviously I'm checking in on you and stuff, which is, you'd want that, but it's like I just don't feel it, you know what I mean? Just don't have that kind of so much connection with it. And to me, and I think a lot of people see this as well, like when you're a kid and that, you're going out, but you're like outside, aren't you? You're running around fields and all that. Going out now, even if it is going out the same amount, everyone's just going to pub instead. So they're just drinking, like people I know, like go pub, like after, like they'll go work Monday to Friday every day, and they'll go pub after. There's nothing necessarily like wrong with that, but like it's like, to me, going there, it'd have to be an occasion. Like going there all the time, it'd like ruin it for me, and like
well,
I don't know, like there's
a thing where like I don't even know what I'm doing tonight. So people ask me like, oh yeah, they get annoyed that I'm not like, I can't. I think they see it as me being selfish, because then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, let's go out tonight, and everybody's got to drop everything for me. But it's not that. It's like, it started happening with my early friend group when they all had so much free time, and I was the first one out of all of them to get like a proper job. Yeah. And I was tired after the job, so I didn't want to go out.
Yeah, people don't understand it so much.
I was forced myself to go out.
Yeah.
But I was so miserable from like my job. I just wasn't fun to be around. And also, I think you start to gain a love for just being at home. Like I just like being in my room.
Because it's that thing of where it's like, especially if you're working and that, you just want to be at home, because at home is now the new like I don't know, like safe spot. And I know it always is, but like that's your comfort thing, where you don't have any responsibilities from now taking on all these responsibilities from working and stuff like that. Like you just want to be at home, comfy,
relaxed,
not agitated at work.
There's people that will ask to hang out with me, Peter and Sophia. But oh, can we just come out with you? Like it seems fun. I'll tell them about some mischief we got up to. Yeah. And then I'll sort of be like, no. And the reason why is because like because these guys are like good for my downtime. Yeah. Like I feel safe around these guys. I feel like I can be honest. Yeah. It's like I wouldn't want to then. Obviously, I like meeting new people and hang out with them, but I don't want to throw somebody
on
else
that
in.
precious time though, doesn't it, as well? Like you've got that set. It's like two of my mates live in the same house. Like they have an house together. If I see one, I'm with one all day. Do you know what I mean? And then even though the other guy's still there, I'll be chilling with one of them. And then maybe the next day I'll see it, the other guy. But then I'll chill with him all day, because even though he's there, I'm spending like time with him. Like catching up and all that.
But do you think people stop being friends? Like what I mean by that is like when you know somebody so long, the relationship becomes this like weird thing where like you wouldn't treat somebody new like that.
No, you wouldn't.
Like the stuff like even me sending like porn to like Peter. Yeah. When I first meet somebody, I would never.
Yeah, of course you would you? Like,
I just wouldn't do it.
First conversation.
Is that you're right. Made it as Aron's friend.
But it's not even that. I don't think it's potentially good. It's not like it good. But even when I was like younger, my best friends, I would just like punch them in the leg. Just
yeah.
What is that? Like,
it's like what? I don't know if I'm going to expose myself here a bit. Like me and one of my other mates, like we just like start being stupid sometimes. We'll just start. Well, I say fighting, but we're just being stupid. Like we're just doing weird moves on each other and stuff like that. But you get that. It's that like brotherhood type thing, or with whatever the equivalent word would be for people.
I don't treat my brothers like.
Nah, but it's. I think it's all changing a lot as well. From like when you're younger, you have like a group of friends. Yeah. And as you say, you lose half of them. Yeah. Because I think half of them don't want to do anything serious with their life, and they refuse to grow up a little bit. And I mean, just like just me. I remember just me wanting to actually get a decent job. Was like they hated it. They were like, oh, you just what you trying to do, like because the first job it was like an office job, and it was like, oh, you're gonna. I did hate it in the end. It was like, oh, you're gonna hate it. Like I wouldn't get an office job till I'm 35. I actually think they're right, but
it's like what you're gonna do up until you're 35. Though.
Yeah,
you can't not.
It's just like what we're doing now isn't great.
Yeah.
Like I look back at my like those days with real fond memories.
Oh yeah.
But now I think, even though now it's difficult, I'm like I think it's better now because like I just remember like this. It was just so difficult back then to like just even go to the cinema. Like I had no money.
Yeah.
So like I had to like scrape all the like coins together.
Well, I think like obviously having a job as well, you get that responsibility, and then strangely it gives you something to hate.
Yeah.
So then you have that one thing you do and you're like, I hate it, and then you come home and you're like, everything's amazing. It's like the simpler things just become so much better. It's like your house is now a frigging 5-star hotel.
It's like a fortress, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then in doing things, it allows you to do those things like go to the cinema. You know, obviously earning money and stuff. And then those things become even more special than they would normally be because one, you know, you're not at work, and two, you've earned money to do so you can pretty much do what you want. You know.
Well, there's always been like a group pressure with your friends as well, where it's like. Everybody's I kind of like it because it helps you compete off each other and actually get a bit better, but there's always been that pressure of like somebody's doing something I'm not, and I'll admit this, I'm like, oh, I should be doing that.
Yeah.
I don't really have it anymore, I'm sort of just doing my own thing now, but back in the day I would definitely see somebody like maybe enter a relationship what I don't have, or just start a job what I think I should be able to do.
It's like my mate started working at a pharmacy, but he started getting quite a like mint wage, do you know what I mean, compared to like my crap wage. Like he were on like £8 whatever, when minimum wage for me were like £4.05 or something ridiculous like that.
No, when you're 16 or whatever, it's like scandalous.
Yeah.
You pay 16 was nothing.
That shouldn't be allowed. What the fuck is that?
Well, I think it's gone up a lot more, but when I started it were £4.05.
Well, it's the apprenticeship wage fucks you over as well.
It's now like £1 or something.
Apprenticeship.
It's £4 something.
Oh, is
at
it?
least from what I remember. But because with apprenticeship, you sort of promise like education, like legally they're meant to provide some kind of educational thing on the side or training, and that's the exchange. Like it's like fair enough. But I remember I was on an apprenticeship for ages, wasn't I? But they were taking ages to set that up, and then they had no other choice to put me on.
Yeah, I remember, because didn't you start your education like a year after?
I never actually started it because they were having issues with like saying, oh, with some company, you've got to set it up with like a proper company.
Yeah.
But in the end they're like, well, we've had you on for 8 months, paying you below minimum wage on apprenticeship wage. Legally, we have to change it now because you're doing the full job without deals of what we were set. So it was pretty fucked. I was doing.
Honestly, apprenticeships are treated like dirt, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be there to learn, right? They don't teach you anything. They don't teach you anything my job.
Make you do all the
what
shitty
really,
jobs.
Overall, that like, sure, I was learning other things like.
You learn yourself.
Yeah, you learn yourself and just like having to deal with that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But what bugged me is like, because we were younger in the apprenticeship part of it, you had to clean up the dishes and the mugs.
Yeah, this is
fuck off. No, I'm an adult still. I don't need to fucking clean up the mug.
It's treat you as like runt work, isn't it?
They'll do the classic, oh, it only takes a couple of minutes to clean up the well, why don't you do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They'll have like a big board meeting with like 500 people, having a million drinks and jugs of water, and it's like, well, now I'm going to be late for the bus, I'm going to be late like 2 hours tonight.
Jesus Christ.
No, but they don't. I'm not sure they do want to advance, you know. Like, because I was lucky to actually get out of it. My apprenticeship stopped quite early. But they didn't really seem... I couldn't do things, and they seemed annoyed that I couldn't do things, but I was like, it's because I haven't been trained.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that whenever, like, even... obviously, going like I said, to my job, I've been at loads of different venues, and obviously, like, there runs differently to Down, and even if they do the same things, it's set out differently and stuff like that. You know, certain things are in different places and that. And it's like, one, I could potentially do it, but 2, then they do it a different way as well, because there's the whole other people managing it, even, you know. And then you go into one place and it's like, it's like, for example, I'm not too knowledgeable on like spirits or, you know, anything like that, whiskies and all that kind of stuff. I don't drink it, so how would I know, kind of thing. And you, like, go in there like, you don't even know how to do that, and it's like, if I've never done it,
the worst thing what I always used to get was people giving me their cocktail list on their phone.
Yeah.
And I could never see it. They'd be like, they'd ask for a cocktail, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then I would say to them, I'll go find the book with a book under the bar.
Yeah.
And they'll go, I'll just show you off my phone. And I'd be looking at it, and I couldn't really see it, and then they'd be like, oh, you're doing this a bit slow. I'm like,
I know, and it's just things piling up on top of each other. It's like...
We never said, oh, you're doing it a bit slow, but we have done the phone thing. But that was just...
No, but that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Because we were asking for, like, my basic drink ever, like, oh, you know what?
Rum and Coke.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's that? It's like, you own the bar, like, you...
Oh, we do what you're saying now.
No, but we were sort of shocked. We were like, it's 3 ingredients, and they were like gobsmacked. We were like, oh wow, oh we'll have to see if we've got any of that. It's like everyone has that in a bar.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's even. I remember my first day of like behind a bar. I didn't know what pump was which beer.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look over to see when customers were asking, and customers get annoyed at me. It was like,
yeah, no, I've done the exact same thing, honestly. Yeah.
I'm like, I've been here a day. I don't know what this pump is, and they're like,
do they just go with that one?
No, they'll like look around like this at the boss. Like, oh, I think I'll have like a Guinness, and then you'll go.
Yeah,
and then the guy will go, this one. Yeah. And he'd be like, I don't fucking know, it's my first day. Like, and glasses. And your first day.
Glasses.
You don't know where glasses
What's that? Guinness is there, but you've put the glasses up on that top shelf over there. It makes sense, that. Honestly.
People get annoyed if you don't give them the right glass.
Yeah, and that annoys me because you have to say, oh, sorry, I'm running out of glasses. I put it in like a Moretti glass. And then they'll look at it like you put a dead cat.
Yeah, literally.
No, they will. It's like people, I think people work so hard that the pubs there like one.
Another thing as well, with going into a place like a pub, I found this, one of the first shifts I did over there. I went in there and someone ordered like Worthingtons or something like that, and I did it. And then other person, that were working with me, like, whoa, what are you doing? And I was like, well, you just ordered a Worthingtons. He went, oh no, that's so-and-so, that you got to put it in this glass.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, how would I know that?
There's always the regulars.
Yeah, like, how would I know that? Like, if you come in and you say you're alright to him, and then you go in the back, and then I take his order, and do you know what I mean?
There used to be a guy who always ordered Baileys for his last drink.
Yeah.
And I remember pouring, quite a few guys who do this, I remember pouring the pint, like his last pint, put it on the table, and then he just stood staring at me. Didn't say anything, just staring at me. And I just went, oh, you alright? And he goes, oh, you're forgetting something. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I always have a Baileys. I'm like, it's my first day. I don't know who you are. Or
yeah, exactly. Like, we're the same thing with like. The same thing with all those real ales. Like, because every time, like, if one runs out, a new one gets put on, that'll be completely different. And obviously, you got like dark ale, you got like the medium, and then the lighter one. I still don't even know the proper words from now, like, but and then they're all asking for, oh, what's that one like? How does it taste? All that. Like, how do I know? Like, you're in here every day, mate. You should know more than me. They're the same things nearly every time.
Yeah, and people automatically think you care about them, right? When you're doing a job, right, you just try and get through the job.
Yeah, of course you are.
You're not like, I know bartenders are supposed to talk to customers, but I really don't want to.
Well, if I were a doctor, I'd care about the patient I'm doing because that's the work. Me being a bartender, I'm tending bar. Yeah. I'm not caring about people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, but there's some customers get really mad if you don't talk. They'll stand at the bar.
Oh yeah,
waiting for like a conversation.
Oh, come on.
And you won't give it to them, and then they'll go, "Oh, staff are a bit miserable in here."
Yeah, and it's like, come on, man. Like, sometimes you're just not feeling it, and some people, like, I've done it a million times. Where I always try and be a bit chatty.
Yeah.
Don't ever get no tips, like, but always try and be a bit chatty. But some people like either don't want it, So then you're like, all right, I'll just not chat. And then someone else will come in, and then they want to chat, and I'm like, yeah, but that guy's just bummed me out.
Yeah.
So now I don't even want to chat. Like,
but if you're only getting like minimum wage, why are you going to put in that much effort?
Exactly. I got this coffee. I went over to this businessman at the airport. And I put it on the desk.
Yeah.
And he was reading a newspaper. He put the newspaper down and just pushed the coffee like this to the side, and it just fucked me up for the rest of the day. I was just thinking in my head, that guy just destroyed me like on the spot, and like it just ruined my whole day. And like all the other staff were in like a good mood. They were joking around, and I was just like,
oh, little thing.
Cause it's just a great metaphor for life. I was just like, this guy thinks he's so good. I put it a bit too close to him, and he just pushed it away like that.
Wow. That's
I'm sure he hasn't got any friends, so it's okay.
That's true. I always think that like people what are like not very nice to be around. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna go back. Your wife probably hates you.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
You're here because like nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah, you've come out by yourself. You said you're at garden centre, but you're at pub.
All right, so this sort of ties into the last point as well. Like self-esteem now has been monopolised as a bad thing. Like if you've got any self-esteem,
do you think so?
I could sort of tie this into the bar thing. When I was like doing really well in the bar, so I'd be getting like confident. I'd be telling the waiters like get his orders out.
Yeah.
I'd be training somebody at the same time. The drinks would be going out. There's always some guy who doesn't like this.
Yeah.
Like they don't like to see like productivity. They don't like to. And then I remember it happened all the time. They'd say like, "Oh, you're doing it too fast." I got this all the time.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "No, I'm vibing."
It's like minor nitpicks, even though you're doing everything correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you've become so good. Obviously, you get into that vibe, that groove of it. You're flying around all over. Everything's running smoothly. To be fair, I same thing at my place. To be fair, the person saying it were an old woman, and I think she was just being, you know how old women are, don't you? Like, oh no, dude. Like,
you're making me dizzy.
But I can see what you're saying in that sense of like, because in that respect, it's like, I don't know how to word it. Like you're doing it better than them, but they're in charge, so they should be better than you. You know,
it's always managed, isn't it? They always like come to you like.
Just put you down for no reason.
Yeah, you can have like a perfect day, right? You think everything's gone well, and then you'll get like an email from the manager or like it's always an email. Never say it to your face, or they always tell somebody else to tell you, like you screwed something up, and you never have. Yeah. It's always something really minor. What like, cause I always think also working at a bar is like, I think you make about 50 mistakes a night.
Probably.
Like, I've cut myself on knives, and I've just pardoned my hand and just carried on working, and I think I built the ability to play for any situation, but it's just not enough for people. Like they want to like. I think expect
you to become a machine.
Yeah, but I think people actually want you to be doing bad.
Yeah.
I think that's how like nasty it's getting out.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's true, but then in the sense of that, everyone wants everyone gone, but then there's no one to do any of the frigging jobs.
Yeah.
Like with everything reopening that. Like loads of like big events and like comedians and wrestling or boxing or whatever going on, and then there's like no staff for it, and then they're like desperately trying to get staff, and everyone's like, no, like, I'm not going to do that for you if I can't get certain things, you know.
No, but it's like the restaurant game like lost half its staff now, hasn't it? And nobody wants to go back to it, which is like no surprise.
Well, it's same for like well obviously that whole company that owns all those things is desperately understaffed. They sent out, when all those events were going off, an email being like, anyone willing to do these shifts. The thing is, though, to entice people in, it just really wasn't enticing.
Right.
It was just like, oh, we've got these opportunities for work. We're desperate. We're so desperate for staff. You will be paid minimum wage, though. It's like if you were that desperate and really thingy, you'd put it up a little bit, wouldn't you, to actually get people interested in doing the shift.
They're not going to do it. Like,
because if you say all these things, and because for an event anyway, you're going to be there a long time, and you're going to be doing a lot of cleaning after. Like it's not.
We're a family.
Yeah. No.
Oh God.
we're a family. We all look out for each other.
That's a red flag right there.
Yeah. Well, they try so much stuff now, don't they? Like they always say things like, "You'll be an individual." Like but no, you won't be.
I mean, the advertisement for my home job was like all the buzzwords that it made it sound great. Like, oh, you'll be working part media. I knew it was too good to be true in a way. Like, it's like it looks like any other media kind of job, but you do give them like, oh well, it's still a media job. They're going to be like professional. Well, but none of the staff in the media team have any media experience. So like they're like looking to you like, oh, like you can edit all this and film it and light it and
just do the entire job
like,
for it.
For £4 an hour, yeah.
£4 an hour.
Fucking
You just don't get it, do
Three
they?
of those videos a day
No.
at peak efficiency without any mistakes. It's like.
No, but it's not even that. It's like you'll do it perfectly. You'll send it to them, and then the font will be wrong, or the frame will be wrong.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they'll just
to
keep.
be fair, like I did make a lot of mistakes, but it's like, well, stop having.
That's
me
because
do
you're
every
overworking.
single bit
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And then they would like, once it is done, they'd like turn and be like, well, we don't like that colour. It's like it doesn't matter. No one looks at colours.
Like
They just don't understand that on social media. They're like, the font's a bit aggressive. It's like, no one fucking reads. No one cares.
They just want to see the moving picture.
Like, of course, like we might do it because we've worked in that field, so we'll sort of look at adverts and be like, oh, that's a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, that frame's a bit off, isn't it, Aron? We're watching John Boyega screaming like, oh, that's a bit awkward.
Oh, in cinema.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Like, oh, what a prick. Like monocles. But then, like the average person doesn't care. They'll just they won't even be listening or watching.
No.
They'll be looking at the screen. But won't be looking.
No.
no, it's like my parents watch the news. I'd be like,
You just put one of those charms in front of the face,
Yeah,
aren't you? They're just hypnotised.
You're just like not really watching, are you?
no. Well, I always used to have my TV on in the room. I've stopped doing it now. Before we met, I always have to have a TV on.
Yeah.
I think that came from my parents. I always have to be like watching something.
Yeah.
But I don't do it now because it's pointless.
Yeah.
But I've always like, even if I've worked in a bar
Brainwash.
and like I've always had to have the radio on
Yeah.
because like I think it is better working without a radio.
Mm.
But I always wanted to put it on just because it drowns sound out.
Yeah.
Like I can.
Plus, weirdly, I think it kind of makes, in a strange way, time go faster. Just because, like, a song is about, like, what, 3 minutes or something like that.
Well, if I open myself, I just didn't want to feel lonely as well.
Yeah.
I'll just be like in the place myself,
Oh, little thing.
like 4 a.m. in the morning, opened up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna put the radio. Even though the radio was terrible,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna put it on. But I also it covered my own music because I play on music really loud, and if like a first customer came, obviously it's not very professional, so I always put the radio on so it covered the sound of my own music as well.
Is it?
So you're extra deaf.
Yeah. No, honestly, I worry about it. I think I'll be deaf one day because, like, I just, you know, when you pass the blue bar on your phone, when it comes up, you listen to sound too much, and it's like a blue bar. I always just go straight past
Oh,
it.
yeah,
It's
same.
like-
I'm pretty sure everyone in our generation.
Yeah, probably,
Like, literally because like we all like grow up with headphones.
Headphones in all the time. Yeah, mine are in nearly all the time.
Now at night you hear a little.
But yeah, music sounds so much better louder.
It does, though. It really does, doesn't it?
You were terrible. So when we first started dating, I got in Sophia's car and the music would be so quiet. You could just hear like a squeaking, and I'd just be like, what?
Right. For
I
music,
need to
though,
feel it.
when you put music on, if it's not on full, do you not feel like you have to have it on full?
Yeah.
Like, you can't not have it on
if there's
full.
someone in, like, if I'm in the car on my own, I'll turn it up. But if someone's
Okay.
there, I'm trying to have a
I
chat,
have
aren't I?
notes for tetanus.
Yeah.
So I've been like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop it.
So I do have it at half volume. But once you get, it's like sugar.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
you cut out that much like sweetness, as soon as you have like the first Coke again, like, oh, it's too sweet.
Yeah.
It's too loud to fucking listen full volume.
Yeah, I can't, not me.
But the thing
I'm
is,
too far gone in
but-
that respect.
But loud becomes really quiet. Like,
Yeah.
like I had my headphones on full blast this morning, and I was like, this is a bit quiet. But I know it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of scary that.
yeah, I am worried about. I think like our generation in like 5 years' time, we're all gonna be in the doctors together.
We're gonna have
Deaf.
like hearing aids,
Not
like
me.
the
Not
eye
like that.
ear.
Yeah, you're not really a headphone person, are you?
Not me.
Well, it's like when we went on the road trip, and then Sophia was like complaining we had the music too loud in the front. But then, what does she do? She put on that podcast, and I
Yeah.
had to wear headphones because it was too loud. Like, I
Yeah,
had
but
to-
you have to turn that up, otherwise you can't hear, like, when they talk a bit quieter.
Because it hurt my ears. Like, it wasn't like because of the
I thought you were just putting it on because she was annoying.
Well, she's annoying.
That as well. But it was literally so loud in the back, I couldn't hear anything else. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And I couldn't like tell you to turn it down because you were.
It was a bit tense in the car at that time, wasn't it?
Well, you were in the zone as well. You were driving.
That's true.
So complaining about someone's music while they're driving at that point would have been a bit of a dick move because you're the one driving. So I just put my headphones and shut off and like, oh, now I can actually like do the thing.
Well, that actually I can say because the podcast was like talking about like serial killers. I'm going to segue this into the 7th one.
Ooh.
It is
little
7.
segue.
Right, this is how slick this is.
Who's your favourite serial killer?
Right, it is about what we were talking about earlier. This attraction.
Oh,
to, like,
that's 7. It's got a film about serial killers as well. It's all linking in.
It's on Netflix now, and you haven't watched 7, have you?
No.
I'm like, we're going through all films what like Sophia needs to watch,
Yeah.
so we'll watch 7 soon. But yeah, it's back to like the attraction of dangerous people, not just in my own life, but there's like, I admire people what aren't good people,
Yeah.
right? And I think they're role models.
Yeah,
Right,
in a
so-
weird way, yeah.
So like we'll go back to like
Don't let him suck you into it.
no.
This is his fucked up.
No, to be fair, no, I can understand what he means.
It's
though.
it's like Jeff Hardy, right? Would just climb up a ladder
Yeah.
and swanton bomb off of it onto like a lot of other wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. But when you think about it, it's dangerous. It's
Yeah,
not.
of course
it's,
it is, yeah.
it's dumb.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's like messed up on drugs.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a controversial figure, but I thought he was so cool.
Yeah.
So there's this like inner problem where I've got where it's just like there's part of me that wants to be part of the mafia. Seriously, I'm like
You think you'd do well?
yeah, I know, not even that. I just like the community of it, like The
Yeah.
Sopranos. I'm like, I would love,
Gabagool.
yeah.
Some gabagool.
I just like how and it's horrific.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's nothing good about it. I know it's like glorified, but it's part of me that's like,
Aron with the headphones on and the mafia listening to all like Sinatra songs, walking through restaurants like, hey.
but it's the thing. I don't actually want that life.
Give me a pizza.
I don't actually want to be part of the mafia.
Yeah.
But there's part of me that's like,
Simon Marvin.
part of me like admires it. There's something where I just can't. I think we're all sort of attracted to those figures
Is it
anyway.
because it like rejects all the stupid rules and like
Yeah, I think
normal,
part
boring
of
life?
that, but I think part is escapism as well. It's like I like why we love the Joker so much
Yeah.
because it's the complete counterculture. It's like the
Yeah.
Antichrist. But
Yeah.
Well, it's like a lot of people are attracted to like drill at the moment, like
Mm.
drill
Mm.
up in London. And it's like, oh, you really think about it. It's like I don't think any of the drillers true. Like if you actually really spoke to them for a moment, like if you would have liked to have grown up not having all your mates being stabbed, or
Yeah.
would that have been nice? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course they're rapping about I'm fucking hard, I've got
Yeah.
all my mates around me. But realistically, like it's like when you listen to Dave's songs
Mhm.
and he's rapping about how he's grown up and like he's not got any of his old mates around him because they're all fucking dead or in jail. And it's like, come on guys. Like,
yeah, it's like
It's like fetishized. I can't say the word.
Yeah.
Fetishized.
yeah, I know what you mean. No, but it's like you watch a film, even like Quiet Place 2, and
Thoughts
then
on that?
I'll be watching it and I'll be like, oh, I want to be in that world. I want to try and survive.
Yeah.
But it's like you wouldn't know, would you? Like if
It's
you
like
just
a weird, like,
I don't know. Maybe there is
fantasizing
something
it.
about
Aaron would
That's
be,
like
be the
we
guy
just
in the
want-
second one. Have you seen this?
something
I've not
a bit
seen it, no.
dramatic.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one guy in a warehouse. That would be Aaron.
yeah, that's what I mean. I like that guy's really cool, but it's like yeah, he might be like surviving well,
Yeah.
but he's in an absolute fuck scenario.
You watch 28 Days Later, you're like, I bet I could outrun him.
yeah.
I bet I could have fucking run across that bridge faster than King Scarecrow.
But I think in reality, if something like did happen, like in a zombie invasion, or something, I think it would be like we'd all be dead straight away.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think I'll go in the woods and I'll become a sniper.
See, I've always thought my old secondary school's got like, it's all got massive fields and fenced off and stuff like that. But like, it's got all like sporting equipment like javelins and all sorts of like mad stuff that you could use
So
in
your
there.
weapon of choice.
It's only up road as well. I'd run up the road. It's only like
But
5 minutes.
This is totally that meme of like what she thinks her boyfriend's like talking about like women, but really this is what lads talk
Yeah.
about. Isn't it? All
No, it
women-
really is. We're like, oh, we'll go up to school, we'll get in science block, right? We'll get all Bunsen burners and stuff like that. We'll get all like flammable material.
But in reality, you'd be terrified. Wouldn't
Oh, of course you would, yeah.
Nah, mate.
A javelin wouldn't be a good weapon. Though, 'cause
I
you'd
think
have to-
initially you would be terrified. Then I think,
Yeah.
like anything, you just acclimatised to it. Kind of like COVID
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Well,
Like,
the
yeah.
first day, I was terrified.
I was weirded out by it,
Yeah.
me. I was just proper weird. That the day before, I had to actually go out and like to some random shop that did UPS or something. Even that day, it was strange because I had to go to this shop because I was like selling something, so I had to get it sent off there. But going about the day before lockdown, obviously everyone knows it's going to be lockdown the day after. There's so many heads about, so many more people about than you'd see normally. And then the day after is the first day of lockdown. I go on a walk. I was like, you know what, I'll go on a longer walk because it's the first day kind of thing. Go on this long walk. More people about walking than I'd ever seen, like walking about, and I'm just like,
That's all they're allowed to do, isn't it?
Well, how did you find out?
what do you mean?
Like about like the virus coming out?
Reddit.
No, it was kind of just bits and bobs flooding in through like probably like memes and stuff, and then like I'd be sat,
Drink bleach.
yeah, like
Oh, I remember that,
sat
yeah.
in me last year like college because we were gonna make like I was gonna make like a short film, and I'm like gassed for it, and then we start hearing stuff of like, oh, we might not be in and stuff like that because of it, and then.
Well, did you take it really seriously at the time? Was you like, oh, it's going to blow over?
I thought we were just going to blow over. I was just like one of those things. I was like, that's not going to do well. It's not going to thingy. But then as soon as it actually, what?
No, I was going to say I was always ahead of curve, wasn't I?
In what way?
Well, I was warning you on TGI Friday. It was serious.
No, it wasn't TJ. It was before that. It was in London, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And was in a restaurant, and like people were looking at their phones, like, and then Peter said, talking about this virus the first time, I sort of heard about it. I think this is like February, is it?
Yeah, it would mean.
And then and I googled it on the table, and I was like, nah, this won't do anything. And then I think, what is it, like a month later, like, or maybe 2 weeks, like we're all just like.
So I mean, I didn't think like, I mean, obviously like things like that spread as we can see how much it did, but like you never see it coming to where you live or anything like that, do you? Because anything that ever happens majorly, it don't happen
to you.
To you, yeah, exactly. And then like this big thing happened. Like I thought possibly it could come to UK, but then I was like just thinking, oh, the most populated places will get like thingy down, but places like here it'd probably be all right, you know, more than likely. Yeah, you know, the more rural it gets as it goes up, I'll like probably be fine. But well, yeah, it's like,
but it's history repeating itself at the same time, because obviously this has happened before in history, but we forget it.
Yeah.
Like, because with the last like major virus was what, like 100 years ago, like the one that actually the Spanish flu, what killed like a lot of people.
It was huge.
And like you think that's never going to happen again because you're living in like what you think is a perfect society.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at nowadays. I mean, look, you've got like massive hospitals like that. You go inside, it's all sanitised, it's all white and clean and
it's
like
Switzerland style. Isn't
yeah,
it?
literally. But you just don't expect something to actually just not work.
Yeah.
In that respect of, but
you're so in tune with your own life as well.
Yeah.
That when like something like this actually happens, you're so arrogant. I thought this would be over in a week. I was like, it's going to continue, and now it's like we're just coming out of it now. Well,
2 years later.
Yeah, we're still dealing with the after effects of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's probably going to go on for another year or so in terms of just like discussions. And
well,
certainly my last third.
There's like a flip flop of like, are we going to go into another lockdown? I don't think we are going to go into another lockdown.
I don't think we are.
But they still talk about it. And
I know they will. Yeah.
I think the deal with that is like we probably should, in the sense of like, double down.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, people are already out.
You can't, can you?
Exactly. There's weird.
A lot of people have started to get back to normal and get their jabs. Like,
yeah.
Like, ethically, it might. Like, even though I'm like, sort of like, if they came out and said it, I wouldn't be too surprised. But ethically, it just makes sense. It's over now.
Yeah. Everyone still wash your hands, all that kind of stuff. Wear a mask, you know, like if you're on like in a massive crowds of people and things.
Decency, like, you still gotta wear your mask and stuff.
I mean, people just don't now. Like the amount of people I've seen just don't. It's like
and the whole mask thing really has always bugged me.
Yeah.
but it's like the common decency of it. Like if you can, you should.
Yeah.
And
The greater good.
And like people when they hear me say that, they're like, oh well, you know, it can't be like that. Why am I saying forever?
No.
Like
You're wearing it for like 5-10 minutes maximum, half the time anyway, aren't you?
It's
It's
not a
not a
big deal.
massive thing, is it?
And people are forgetting, like even though you double jabbed or even triple jabs,
Yeah.
you can still carry it.
Oh yeah.
Like it reduces it by 8% or whatever,
Yeah.
depending on whatever jab. But there's still going to be people who are still carrying it right now, and you can still send it to people who still have. Because I have people who just can't get the jab because I think actually one of my brother's carers, she's like allergic to penicillin and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like she can't have the jab until it's truly tested, so she's a bit screwed unless all that. So it's all a bit of a mess.
Well, is it now that the jabs aren't even going to work now, or you need like a booster or something like that?
Well, like people are saying like, oh, they're going to do it yearly, and it's like, well, I don't know if it's true.
Do it yearly on like a world level is like ridiculous.
Like, do you know like a common ground they're saying sort of like, oh, there's an option for it, like any other jab. Do you know like the jabs you get when you're 14 and stuff like in school? It might be one of those. But when I hear that and people complain like, well, we sort of fucking asked for it because no one wore the mask. Everyone kept
that was my thing as well, yeah.
Like
People just made their own problems, like in that respect.
People are saying, oh, it's going to become the next one. Well, yeah, because no one took it seriously for too soon.
See, as soon as that went into lockdown, that should have been like a massive wake-up call for loads of people.
I think people took it really seriously, but I think the first 2 weeks they didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
So if they nipped it in the bud...
I thought that was the time that was serious.
No, because the first 2 weeks there was like, about what the regulation was going to be, what the lockdown was going to be. And then that was the window they lost, and then I think they took it really serious after.
When he came out with wash your hands to happy birthday.
Yeah,
so
I mean, that was the game. Like, you have to do happy birthday. The countries did the best reacted straight away.
Yeah.
They closed the things down, it was done, but
I think it's only natural that people didn't take it that seriously in the end, because when it first came out, everyone thought if they caught it, they were going to die.
that's kind of true, actually.
Then they started to see everyone around them caught it, and they didn't fucking die, they just had a cold. So
Yeah,
they were like, well, fuck this then.
There was so much
wear a
like
mask.
misinformation, so many different... It's like nobody knew what to believe. Only now we're getting answers.
Yeah.
Like the whole maybe lab leak conspiracy as well, that could be a thing. Like, you know, that was like, when that was mentioned at the beginning, if you said that in the wake of things, you were potentially like a loon. It was crazy. And then now it's got media traction. Like,
yeah, people would look at you like you're a conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, people at the end of the day, people are just trying to look out for themselves. So when it happened, I've always been a person anyway who's just like there's something to everything. And
I always think that, but then I always try not to think.
I'm not looking
like
for
everything's a film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean. I'm not looking for things directly, but just like the politics behind it as well. I was just like, there's something not sitting right with me here.
I just didn't like the whole way, government-wise. I'm at ends where it's like, I know in a strange way they probably couldn't have done it differently just because of how it runs and the people who are there. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously that's a factor in itself, isn't it? But it's just the fact of like when they did that weird reopen, I think is what screwed it more than anything.
It was like, oh, go out and eat.
It was way too like...
Well, it screwed restaurants because it was like, you can get a free meal.
Yeah.
And then like the restaurants were losing money.
Exactly, like from a business standpoint and then obviously the health standpoint.
I
think restaurants did get aid, but I don't think it was a lot to like help.
Oh yeah, it was very limited. It was like, remember how like businesses. I mean, I was still part of the company for like a month, where the pay was like half or whatever, 6% or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So like they were getting support, but then after that we were all screwed because it's like, well, the company's losing money now because we're paying you out of pocket to not do it. So I don't blame them for closing and shutting down all our media stuff. But then right after, they're like, oh well, we're going to start it. And I was like, well, I could probably have stayed on for a couple more months. I've lost that space, so I might have to pause. You'll have to put a little disclaimer on video. battery guy.
Yeah,
Blonde.
I don't really know YouTube thing because there's so many
Or
YouTubers.
just cut scene, it goes
Yeah.
grey in the background and
And
you're
they
just
go-
stood there. Hi guys.
And they go, oh, sorry, my camera died. It's like, I don't care, just
It's like
cut it
fucking,
out.
what is it, Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
He keeps doing that every
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Alright, I'll go heavy for a minute for point 8.
Oh dear.
Right, so how I got manipulated, right?
Mm.
Sophia knows this because Sophia's also dealt with a narcissist. It starts with like love bombing.
Right.
So you get like compliments that make you feel like you're the most important person to them, which now is a red flag to me.
Yeah.
They also overshare as well
Mm.
to try and make you feel comfortable. So if you meet somebody for the first time and they're like telling you
Their
really,
entire life
Yeah.
story, yeah.
that's also a bit of a red flag as well. Then they start gaslighting you.
Mm.
So that's like the subtle thing where you'll just be like, you'll just ask them something or tell them something, and then they'll sort of put the idea down in a very, very gentle way.
Mm.
And at first you start to doubt yourself, so you start to actually think, because my big problem was somebody managed to convince me I wasn't good at collabing.
Right.
All my projects I've always like collabed with people and done music on, and like even down to the actors I've always like asked what they want to do. So I've always felt like anything I've done has been quite open-ended, unless it's been like an individual thing.
Yeah.
And then because and this person wasn't really giving me good feedback anyway, they weren't really available to actually collab with, and they managed to convince me that I wasn't good at collabing, when I think it was actually my biggest strength. And so after the love bombing, you get to the stage where these people start making you doubt yourself, and then it goes into like the final phrase where you just actually doubt, because these people are like, usually they're actually in quite good positions. So it's either like upper management or other people vouch for them as well. That's also dangerous. Like there'll be people,
That word of mouth. Innit?
yeah, and you'd be like, this person seems legit, and because of that, and because they're like an authority figure, you then
You
start
have like
to,
a weird, also conceived way of going about talking to him and interacting with him as well, don't you? Because they've got some position of power.
I've this like year I've attracted that many. It's like it took me to a really dark place. I think that's partly 'cause I've got high empathy, and also because Sophia sort of convinced me, and I think she's right. It was also like I've had like a desperation to work because like COVID, all like everything just died. I've been so desperate to do anything.
You're hungry to get back out there.
I've just
innit?
started working with people I'd never worked with in like a million years. And a bit of early 12 flooding as well. I think I'm just attracted to the wrong sort of people, because part of me thinks I can like change them, or like I can like because I see myself as somebody who's like honest and changing things and trying to be raw and trying to be authentic. And then when I see it in somebody else, I think, oh, we're gonna get along, but they're not necessarily like me. Like, because like like those people, they don't have empathy, they don't have good relationships with people.
Yeah.
I've got their traits, but I have good relationships with people. I have empathy, I'm like a nice person, but those people don't. So you sort of just become attracted to.
So you're going back to that when you were on about like how they can kind of bring you down with like the love bombing and that. It's like they put yourself on your own pedestal, don't they? Like in respect of, I bet, like obviously you working with someone on a collab, and then initially they're just like yeah amazing, all kinds of stuff like that. You're like getting built up, every little comment imagines like another book you're standing on kind of thing, and then you keep going up and up, and then like towards the end of it starts saying all these things, it starts getting slashed and chipped down, doesn't it? And then all the books start disappearing as like or they just fall kind of thing, because like I've not experienced it so much myself, but I can definitely understand obviously someone like over complimenting yourself. Like that weren't a compliment for that way, because then in your head you're building yourself up even more, which I wouldn't necessarily
It's not healthy, is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a good thing, because then once you've built your son up through other people telling you, and it's not actually you.
They can then knock you
Yeah,
down.
exactly, because all that power is with them. Like, you don't have your own power of thinking you're good enough. It's with them. They own that power because they're the ones telling you, kind of thing.
That's the root of everything.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people, sort of like the mainstream, have never really clicked with me, and I've always told them it's the enemy. But in a matter of fact, it's not really true. It's like, even things like the old me wouldn't even do a podcast. And I'd be like, this is like hacky.
Yeah.
Right? And then as I've obviously matured a little bit, I'm like, alright, it's actually fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually like that. But so then I automatically think anybody who's on the edge, that's my crowd, and I should try and stick with them. But you find out, like, I think I'm on the edge because I'm genuine when I say I don't want to be like famous, or I don't want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm being truthful about it, but they're not. They're saying things like that. They're saying, oh yeah,
they're saying what the famous people say, aren't they? Yeah.
They're saying things like, oh, I don't want a big career, I don't want that. And it's like, hold on, that's because you haven't got that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it because I just don't. The thought of like have my life took away by like.
See, it's like, I'd love like the recognition of doing something,
Yeah.
but I'd rather it be the thing I've done getting the recognition necessarily than me. Obviously, if it made loads of money, I'd want all the money.
Yeah.
But like,
you want to be comfortable, don't you?
yeah, but like, I wouldn't want, how you see dozens of people going about. I mean, I suppose it's part and parcel of it, but it's not something I think I particularly like doing. Whereas, like, you see, a new film comes out or whatever, and then they get in the actors, they're doing like 500 interviews a day kind of thing. That's not what I'd want to do.
Yeah, but those interviews are like staged as well.
Exactly,
like,
they're not real, are
the
they?
same things what like people like sounds good. It sounds good in the ear, like a backstory. That sounds really cool, but they've probably said that many times of like redefine what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're just hearing the same things over and over again.
It's deconstructive as well, because I've got it in my head, like I've got to do what that person did. Like I'm like, that person made it when he was 22.
Yeah.
I've got to do that. Oh, I'm past 22 now. Now I'm miserable.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, and then you see somebody else, like a peer, make it on their thing, and you're like, hang on, I think I'm a little better than them, but why have they made it? And then it's usually because they've done something what just taps into like some like thing. So it's not really jealousy. I think I've always thought, for me, it's like, I was telling you this earlier, I just don't like seeing people doing things I'm doing. Like, if somebody invited me to a film festival, it's hard for me to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm also trying to make films and trying to get out there.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Well, it's like you're meeting the competition, innit?
Yeah.
Like, but like in a sense of you're KFC and you're going into a McDonald's, aren't you? Like that's the kind of sentiment with that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not. It's like usually these people, like I'll talk to them after like a film director, and like they're really nice, and I generally do like their films, but it's like I just can't go to them.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. Even if like I'm watching like a film on like some streaming service, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool, that film. I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I start getting annoyed at the film. Yeah. I'm like, if it's too close to an idea I've done.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't watch it.
There's certain like before I think it's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That's the one where it begins with Mr. Blue Sky, doesn't it? I've always wanted to use that in like the opening for a film, and then they frigging used it, and I was
so
like,
you just like look away for 5 minutes.
Like I was like, oh, that actually peed me off a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because I always like, in the sense I'd use it, it'd be for like some apocalyptic like type thing, it'd be
reverse sentiment.
Yeah, but it'd be like, all it'd be was a camera constantly moving that way, but it's going. So imagine it's like a city, and obviously you're seeing streets as it goes past, and then a building. It'd be like the white for like the new, and it's just going through time, slowly showing your society just crumble as it's just constantly going that way. So every new street is a different bit in time as it's getting more and more apocalyptic, and that song would be playing in background. I always wanted to do that, and then James Gunn went into my mind while I was asleep and stole it.
There's no, is it? Because then everybody loves that person for doing that idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's like I haven't watched Black Mirror,
I've not watched it
But
either.
somebody told me like why it's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hang on, I've made a short film like that.
Oh, poor Aron.
But that short film
Should
got
your
like,
short film be on Netflix?
yeah, no, it's not even that. It's like I feel like if I was to try and do it, people were like, no.
Yeah,
But
I've already seen it kind
yeah.
of thing, wouldn't they? Yeah. Like, people, in that respect as well, when someone's trying to make something themselves, are more critical than if it's something, I think, that's just appears on Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Say, like Black Mirror, I know obviously it's all like about technology or whatever. Say if Netflix then, unrelated to Black Mirror, just slapped something out and it was like basically Black Mirror, but it's just not called Black Mirror. People will watch that and like it, but then if you like I've found anyway, especially like certain things, like I've always, you know, want to sample songs that have already been sampled, but just do them in a different way, and people are like, oh yeah, but I've already heard it. And it's like, yeah, but I'm doing it different.
Yeah.
Like, I'm adding my own like flavour to it, kind of thing. But I always think people are more critical of, like, I know we live in a day and age where it's hard to come up with a new idea. In a sense of like something where it's completely brand new, nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to do that because everything's influenced by something that's already been before, isn't it? But like, still, I don't think people understand like the amount that goes into just coming up with like a concept like that and then going through with making it, and you know, this, that and the other, and then to just turn around and instantly go, yeah, but I've already seen it because I've watched this. And it's like, yeah, but you haven't though, have you?
Yeah.
Because
it's like children. It's like an idea. I always think it's like having it's just like this perfect thing. And
well,
then,
it's like I mean, to be honest, I haven't watched the other one, like, but it's like going, oh, I wouldn't watch Star Trek because I've seen Star Wars because it's just the same thing. But I mean, it is, but it's not, innit? That, you know what I mean?
It's the same genre, but it's not.
But it's
like
just not, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got a real problem with that. Like,
But don't you think people want to have stuff similar to what they've liked before? Like, if something came out and it was like, oh, it's a new Black Mirror, everyone would be all over it.
I think they'd like it, but I think they're just way more critical of it because then they're like, yeah, but Black Mirror's better,
yeah,
kind of thing.
Well, in video games, it's like, oh, it's supposed
Oh.
to be,
Definitely in that, yeah.
what is it? Like, it's a new.
well, it's how you sell something, isn't it, as well?
Well, I suppose in the sense of like games as well, you got those Batman Arkham games, and then you got that new Spider-Man game, which ultimately, to be fair, they're kind of the same game. Like the way you are fighting, you know, like all the combat and stuff, it's the same, but it's different enough to warrant it being a thing.
It's like
you
all
know,
the Dark Souls.
yeah, all those
Oh, it's
rip-offs,
new
yeah.
Dark Souls. It's new Dark Souls. But shut up.
Yes, no, it's not. It'll never be that good. But there you go. I've just done it myself.
There you go.
No,
Yeah,
but
but-
it's like horrible for like. Imagine working on a game for like 3-4 years or something, and then someone's like, pretty dark or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to make my own thing here.
But people are just like allowed to be too critical now of like
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't even.
Well,
matter.
everyone is a critic now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, everybody's based off their own objective reality,
Yeah.
aren't they?
I think a majority of people are kind of sheeps in the sense of they'll just watch. Well, like we were saying earlier, we're just dangling something in front of them. They'll watch it and they'll go. They'll not actually like watch
What's
it.
I mean, like-
They'll just be on.
like the film industry, they think they have to like make superhero films exactly the same,
Yeah.
copy and paste. But when they did change it up, they changed the industry.
That's why I kind of thingy with Shang-Chi, to be fair. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Like, I think the characters are alright enough in it, but like the film itself, like beat to beat, is just, I've seen it before, but like it is different enough to warrant it being the thing, but it does still just follow the same formulaic structure of all the rest of the films, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't not in a way, but like I actually thought that would have been one of the films to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I knew Black Widow wouldn't be. I knew that'd just be
Well,
another film.
It is going to be a very like assuming opinion, but like if people on Reddit heard me putting this on, fucking doubt votes for years. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like Black Panther. I don't. Well, I understand the.
I couldn't cultural impact. I can
But
understand,
the film, it's not.
but the
like
film itself again is just generic.
That was me with Get
Like-
Out. I honestly did not
Yeah,
like Get
Get
Out.
Out. I remember when we saw that, I was like, isn't that meant to be like
the best film ever?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but
Next
like the
Oscar.
whole ending, I just thought
Yeah,
sucked.
I thought it was fine, but if they were saying it was gonna be like the best film ever,
Yeah, it's like,
and
oh my
then-
god,
But
this is going to be the next horror film. And it's like, what?
the only takeaway I take from that is just because me and my mate find it really funny is, you know, when there's that coach and he's running in
Oh,
that
yeah.
field, but then he does that weird like
Yeah,
instant
you know-
switch. Like we try to do that, so it's funny.
Have you seen all the memes?
Yeah.
Like there's one like with Pikachu spinning on a chair randomly.
Yeah.
He disappears. But anyway, it's like that film in particular. I remember like people were saying how subtle and it was on this whole white versus black commentary. It's like, well, pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It
That
was
was
really
the film.
wasn't on the nose.
Like,
Like
like-
I've got so many water.
How much
here.
water do you need?
Stay hydrated.
It's like when people are saying like, oh, Black Panther and like all this. Like, I understand the impact. Like, it's great that there's like a whole black cast of superhero kind of.
Because I suppose in that I can understand it for the fact of there isn't really a film that's come out before like that. I mean, yeah, you've got like Blade, but it's not really
Yeah.
family friendly, is it? Like
Exactly. Like in terms of like the leap of like, hey,
big blockbuster like superhero
like,
film, yeah.
millions and millions dedicated into like this. But like really, like if you take that away from it, it's a pretty naff film.
Yeah, it is like
For a first impressions, I was disappointed by like Black Panther. Black Panther's pretty cool.
yeah.
But it's
In
like,
Civil War is pretty mint, to be
yeah,
fair.
like, I think
Yeah.
his costume's pretty shit in the
Yeah.
Black Panther film. Like,
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Civil
Yeah.
War's way cooler.
It is.
But it's like the Shang-Chi as well. It's like
I can understand its cultural impact again, but like,
all cool elements like the fight scenes like are different. Like the end
oh, the
scenes-
fight scenes are mint. Like, I'll give them that.
Like, to be fair, like people are saying it's like raid level fight scenes. It's like it's not that good.
Mm.
It's good. It's better than the other Marvel shit.
Yeah.
And, like,
It's more like just classic-y kind of just kung fu film fighting,
I
I'd
mean,
say, if
the
anything.
final fight scene's like so batshit ridiculous.
Yeah, it
I
is.
respect it.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's like got the dragon and it's like Hadouken.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck's going on? Like, well, you wouldn't have seen this like 10 years ago.
No, you won't know.
It's like anime and like live action.
There's like that weird mix. To be fair, I'd say a weird way like anime's kind of influenced and like come in. I'd say obviously people watched it, but I'd actually say it started with Matrix, me, when that came out, because that's probably first people, even without knowing, that's their first like introduction to anime in a weird way.
I mean, even Animatrix, like that was
Yeah,
very much.
that's quite cool, to be fair, as well.
Very much like in that vein.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of anime myself personally, just because there's certain aspects to it I just can't get along with, but
Yeah,
you know,
the
I
culture-
can understand it, yeah.
The culture really puts me off, like the whole like.
Sophia's a huge anime fan. Like,
Not me.
she's got bookcases and bookcase full of manga and
You're being a troll, man.
But anyway, let Aron carry on because he.
Yeah, we went
Aaron's
on,
getting itchy
we went
because
on
he's
a, we
not
went on a
involved in this
detour then.
conversation.
no, I just people that I don't know really much about.
He
like,
can't join in on Marvel
like, yeah.
conversation, can he?
Oh.
I'm not.
He can though, like he acts like he doesn't, but he has seen a lot of them.
I've seen all of them, but I just don't really care about them.
Mm.
So like, it's not I don't I.
Aaron's too good for Marvel.
No, it's not that at all. Like, that's what people think. It's like I probably would like this sort of stuff.
Mm.
I just don't like the way they've done it.
Yeah.
Like I just can't.
See, for me, it's another one of those things where it's like I've loved the characters as a kid, watching all cartoons and
Yeah.
playing all games, and I just like seeing them
Well,
on film. But
it's like the original not the original Spider-Man, but like the
they're
Tobey
something
Maguire
else.
one, right?
They are actually
they were
something
really
else, though.
good, right? And there's something about them,
Ah,
but
Yeah.
when you like watch like the new one, even though they're fine,
Yeah. Oh,
It's
the new
like-
Spider-Man films are crap.
no, but
right,
they're
if you ask
okay.
me.
But it's just like it's just not clicking with me.
No.
It's the same with all the Marvel films. It's like I just don't care.
That's what I mean. They're all very formulaic, aren't they?
you'd get a lot of upvotes on Reddit for that one. That's a good hot take.
people
agree with
like that.
It's
But is it not just because, like, they're just children's stories, basically?
Yeah, no, there is that. I went, no.
But they're not really made for. Like, obviously, you like the ones that you saw when you were younger because you were a child. That's what
No,
you
it's not
liked.
just that. I no, it's because I saw myself as that character.
Yeah.
Right. in the new ones, I don't see myself to any of them. They all just
don't
look
relate
like,
to anything
they all
that
just
any of the
look
characters
like-
are doing.
They're all doing like quick quips and.
Especially the new Spider-Man one, for the fact of you watch the old ones and he's literally doing everything off his own back, and he's struggling to not only balance his own life but his working life, you know, relationships, and then saving everyone in the city.
Spider-Man in the first film gets like
Tony Stark's just like, oh, do you want this suit? Yeah, he's got friggin' his bulletproof, got all sorts of stuff. You don't even have to do it; it'll just do it for you.
Well, those like the Spider-Man films, the good ones, they were like fun as well.
Yeah,
they were goofy in a good way.
Yeah,
but they take themselves so. I mean, this is unpopular opinion, but like I think like superheroes can look cool, but I think now they look ridiculous. Like what's his face, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal in the Spider-Man film.
Yeah,
I think he looks ridiculous in a suit. As soon as he appears, right, in the suit, it just I can't explain. But I laughed. I was like, is there something about this guy who just does not look good in like a?
Yeah, I can understand
like a suit, and that's what I mean.
I will say as well with Marvel, from the actual design perspective, everything does look too similar.
Yeah.
A lot of people's outfits just, to be honest, just look the same. They're all just lines. It's just comic book outfit, except it's just got lines all over it.
There's no physical. This is why, like, right. So you know in Spider-Man 2 when he like falls off the train as people grab him, right? You feel he's flimsy, right? You feel like he can get hurt. But in the new ones, they're all so stiff, and they're walking around, and like they get like hammered through a building and they scrape it off, and people die and nobody cares about it. Like when that train's about to crash, you actually genuinely do care about the people on the train.
No,
Now they're just wrecking everything, and you just like...
It's like Man of Steel, isn't it? Like,
you just don't care.
What about the first Spider-Man film when Green Goblin like beats the living shit out of Spider-Man?
That's how it ends.
Like I love that fight scene just for pure fact. Like the music stops. And like he's making like really like pathetic. Like people laugh at the sounds now when you come on. But he's screaming in pain. Like it sounds like he's actually getting beaten up. He's not
exactly.
Going,
So when it comes to the...
he's going...
So when it comes to like the grand moment where he saves the day, you actually want him to triumph. But now, I'm just too numb to it.
It's like you proper see the struggle in the old one though. Like in the first one, there's that what is it like a tram car?
I'm like, I've watched these, but I don't remember any of the details. Like,
you know, like the tram
relate to
car
this
or whatever it
conversation.
is that he has to pick up, doesn't he? Obviously, Green Goblin cuts the wire and it falls with all those people. Like even when he grabs the wire, you see all the blood like coming off of his hand because obviously it's like ripping his hand to pieces as he's like grabbing it.
You know the second one where he quits being Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he
my
lives,
favourite one.
He lives like a happy life.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you feel so happy for him, right? But at the same time,
the guy getting mugged in alley's just like.
Yeah, but the same.
Even though we could have actually helped him.
At the same time, you know that he's gonna have to go back to it.
Yeah.
So and that's really clever. Like now in the film when like a character has like a conflict of interest, you know in half an hour time he's gonna be back doing that thing. There's no like.
Well, it's also the problem of like. It's a little like it's cool for a moment to hear like what Marvel are making in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But like when you hear it's like Spider-Man 5 and 6, it's like well. There's no stakes now.
Yeah, because I already know what's going on.
Yeah, there's going to be 8 more films.
It was the same with that Black Widow film. I was just like, it was the point in watching it. Like,
She died already.
exactly like, I've seen how a story ends. I don't need this. Yeah, literally. And it was crap, in my opinion. Like, the first quarter of it, I thought the action were pretty good. And then the film just.
Turned into a Marvel film.
Yeah, literally.
This is my problem, right? Out of all the Marvel films I've watched, it's like 3 what I'm interested in. So that's what I think. I think they're just bringing so many out. Like they're just
there is a lot.
Like I
not
like
putting much effort into them.
like the Infinity War, the first one when they lost.
Yeah,
that
I love that
because
I actually was surprised when they actually did lose because I was like,
I got to see Aron's reaction to that.
I was shocked.
I turned because I already saw it, and I was like, "Well, you might actually like it, Aron." No, he's like, "Oh, fuck off, come on."
Yeah.
And then when he died, he's like, "Was that the end?" I'm like, "Yeah, Aron, they're dead, they're dead," and he's like, "Oh," and he looked a little shocked.
I was like, fair play.
He was trying to play it up for a moment, but he generally was a bit quiet.
It proper makes it like they're just gonna win though. Because when Thanos gets like thinged with that axe, I was like, oh, I'm actually really little bit disappointed now. And then he just does it anyway, and I was like, oh, legend.
Yeah. But
Aron wanted it to stay.
Aron loves it when people get killed off.
no, it's not that. I just love that feeling of like I didn't expect it. That's what cinema is. You're supposed to go and you're supposed to like something's supposed to happen, even if it's stupid.
I watched for first time, not seeing any trailer out. Me and my mate watched the other day that Street Kings, with Keanu Reeves.
I haven't seen that.
Right, it's a David Ayer film. I don't know when it came out, like, but we'd not watched the trailer of it or anything. We just basically saw Keanu Reeves in this film, and it had like quite a decent rating. So we're like, oh, we'll watch it. And he's like a policeman, but like every like 20 minutes, there were like some big actor were just walking on screen, and I was like, wait a minute, what is he in this film? And then like even towards the end of the film, people were still like coming off. I was like, fucking hell, that's so and so. But
the cameo films.
Yeah, but no, it was a decent film though, and like in one bit of it that did come out of nowhere, is about a quarter into it, Chris Evans just comes in it, and he's like thingy, and then he ends up helping Keanu Reeves go on this like fucking rampage, pretty much in a way, and well, trying to find out this crime thing, and then. They get to this place, and then what is it? Common or whatever. That rapper who's in. I'm pretty sure he's in like. Oh, it's not the one in Fast and Furious, I don't think, but he's in John Wick 2. Yeah, that's it. No, not him. I know he's in Fast and Furious, and he Ludacris. I think it is Common who I'm on about. He's in John Wick, isn't he? In the second one or whatever. He just pops up, and I'm like, fuck it. Where's he coming from? And then they have this massive shootout, and Chris Evans gets laced. And I was like, did not see that coming. Earlier on in the film, Terry Crews is just in it, and I was like, wow. And he's in this shop, and he's like, and him and Keanu Reeves have this little fight, and then two people come in the shop, we use like machine guns and lace him to pieces, but you see it. Like, you just see him actually get riddled with like 500 bullets. And it's mint.
It is nice and actors don't take themselves too seriously.
Watch Street Kings.
big plug.
I got paid by Keanu Reeves to say that.
Alright, so do you think like people aren't trusting their gut feeling at the moment? Like there's so many things where I know it's not going to be good for me, or it's not going to be productive, but I just go against it even though I know I'm right.
Trying to think of a situation I can apply it to. I don't know if I'm going to sound like a bad person right now saying this, because normally I probably would, but it's just where it happened I didn't. Because I had the initial urge to do it, but then I didn't do it, and I felt bad after for not doing it. And I was literally on that street over there, like I was on about earlier, you know, we all homeless people and some scary characters. I was like, I was walking down it to come here, to be fair, other week, and this woman fell over on the other side of the road. Like, she just fell over.
And you didn't do anything?
I like initially went to go help her, but she fell on the side of the road where there were all these like people stood about, and I was like,
they'll do something.
I was like, yeah, they'll do something, but they didn't.
Yeah,
and I was like,
horrible, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's that huge case in New York where this woman was like brutally like raped and like stabbed and shit.
And people walked past her.
And like she was alive for another 2 hours.
Yes.
And she was screaming. Like there was like hundreds of people had accounts of hearing this woman.
Yeah.
But no one helped because they thought someone else was going to.
Yeah.
It's like this huge case, and I forgot what they call it. But
Yeah, I've heard that. They've done a film on it as well.
But it's a huge thing. Like it's a human trait.
Yeah, like
people see someone in danger.
You don't want to be associated either, do you?
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, they're closer, they're going to help,
Mm.
and then they think, oh, but they're going to help it
Yeah.
instead.
I don't think you have this now, because you usually do. Like when that person was going to jump off the bridge, me and Pete were like, we went past this person was about to commit suicide. I was thinking about it, and me and Pete were like, oh, nah, leave it, it'll be fine.
To be fair, I still doubt. I thought it was just a kid who was just sat
Just
there
hanging
getting
around on the
like I really didn't know.
wrong side of the bridge, like a
Like it just
absolute
didn't
cunt.
feel like it was. But at the same time, I understand why you would think that.
No, I think it's because people don't register. I don't register. Somebody will actually do it.
Yeah, same. Like,
but then what Sophia has told me is like they will actually do it.
Yeah.
Like it is that time when nobody actually takes know that people will actually do that thing. It's people in my own life where I'm like, that person's a little like messed up.
But you just don't think.
But they don't need help.
Yeah.
Yesterday, like it's not murder or anything or someone falling over, but like this woman dropped her a paper that she was reading when I was at the bus stop. And then
he kicked it.
I ripped up in front of her. Now, the other people who were right next to her went onto their feet. They didn't give it back to her, so I was like, oh, okay. And then by the time I was like, oh, maybe I should have actually done it myself.
Yeah, it's too late in that respect, isn't it?
It was really awkward if I just walked up and grabbed it.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Not you, but just like people in general.
That's not sort of fucking disgusting.
No, like the people that like were right there. I don't know.
No, but it's like you can't like blame individuals because like it's like.
I don't know. I think you can.
No, maybe that guy was genuinely scared. Like, think how people have been at the moment, right? Living in complete social anxiety. I mean, we're bad with social anxiety. We've got to admit that.
Yeah.
Some people are way worse than us. So that could be the first time he's out. He could be sat there like terrified. This is falling on his leg, and he could just be like, "I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk."
But you don't have to say anything. Just pick it up and like.
But it's not that thing,
wave
is
in
it?
a general direction.
That's what we're saying. Like sometimes like stuff happens and you just can't react to it. It's like
you just freeze up then, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if I don't know, somebody says something about you, it's like my first thing is not to have a go at them. It's to try and get you out of the situation. But then when you look back at it, you're like, yeah, you should have done something. But if you think the gut reaction is to be rational.
Yeah.
It's to assess the clever thing to do is assess the situation and see if you can do anything. But
because you gotta like it's like this reaction you have like to be sensible about it because you're trying to get out of it safe, aren't you? Because if you were to like react too abruptly, you know that it might get worse.
But this is my main problem at the moment. I think it is to do with COVID.
Yeah.
I'm just not trusting my gut in anything.
That was the thing with that woman. Like, as soon as she fell over, like, it's like I saw her fall over at the, corner of my eye. She, like, if it were an old woman, I think I would have literally just run over and helped her, and I think everyone else would have. But I think it's the fact that she looked about, like, maybe 30 at max, kind of thing. But, like, there was the whole thing of, especially when you're in a quick situation like that, you get that slight bit of fight or flight, don't you? Because it's like it's a strange situation, and I wouldn't say it's confrontational, but it kind of is, isn't it? Like, in a sense,
it's invasive into normal life.
But literally, like, it's invasive. But like, even when she fell over, I initially turned like that to begin walking over to help her because she dropped all like these things.
A bag of oranges.
Yeah, and but then I was like, wait, there's COVID, and then it's like, wait, there's people over there. And I was like, wait, I'm myself running low on time to get to where I'm going, and then all these things started like coming in my head, and then I kind of just turned and kept walking. But as I walked away, I was like, I should have just gone over and helped her.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't now, obviously. But
to be fair, I do I have helped a lot of people in like dire situations, but just recently, it's just been really bad. It's like it's got to the point where I know somebody's struggling, but I've got my own stuff to deal with.
Yeah.
And usually
Maybe everyone's just running so low on like
compassion.
Yeah.
Well, they're just completely worn out. Do you know what I mean? They've got nothing left. So they basically can't even keep themselves afloat. They haven't got anything to give to anyone else.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
It's like when I were at uni, every day, obviously couldn't go actually into university because of COVID. And like I could probably apply this situation to most people, to be fair, we're being furloughed and stuff. It's you waking up, you're in your house all day, you're going to sleep, you're waking up, you're in your house all day, you're going to sleep, that, every day in, every day out. So you're way more acclimatised to your actual home as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then like obviously I forgot where I'm going with this point then actually. I just completely lost it.
But it doesn't matter.
You're not tuned into like other people maybe.
Yeah, like you become so in your own bubble kind of thing
you become protective of yourself.
Yeah, that it literally just you walking outside pops it like immediately pretty much for some people.
Yeah, when you see the first human of the day, like, oh yeah, all people on this planet.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
How can I kill them?
Alright, so this sort of ties into it as well. I've been completely like trapped into overthinking.
Yeah,
so,
well, like that, do you know what I mean? Like I'd say for me, to be fair, I second guess a lot of things that I do you know, if or an opportunity
that's
arises,
like
I
a sign
second guess it.
I think that's a sign of intelligence, because I think if you're an intelligent person, I think you assess situations so many different ways that you end up not doing the thing.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
I'm always doing that. I'm always like, right, I'm going to do this thing like this, but then I see how it's going to fail, and then I just don't do it. Cause I'm like, oh, it's a possibility that thing could fail.
Well, it's like when I'm not like out with people, talking to people, I'm just at home, just thinking of situations and conversations I'm going to be having, or think I'd have. Like, of course, it gets to the silly stuff like, oh, what happened if I ran into this celebrity, or like, oh, how would I? But like literally, just like coming here this morning, I was like, oh.
How's it gonna go? No, because
you think about like, oh, what if someone came in and started screaming like, oh, you're that on anything?
No, this is the thing. Like, no, me and Pete have come up here, and people had a go at us for not telling us like the time to come in. So that starts playing in my mind as well. And like this morning, I just said to Sophia, I genuinely have got social anxiety now, because I was just like, I'm not nervous about doing this, because this is like, I enjoy doing this, but like to actually go into the building where other people are, like, I mean, I don't know half these people out here, and like, it's just a bit weird to then go past them and just be like...
To be fair, I kind of got it going back to work, that weird anxiety of being around quite a lot of people again.
It's never really that bad now, is it?
No, it's never as bad as you think, but it's always the first few steps, isn't it? It's the build up that's the worst thing, and I think for a lot of people it's, you know, like
me and like needles and stuff, like with the jab, like I knew jabs, I mean, blood work is one thing, because I know that's horrible, like I won't like that going on, or even after, I feel like shit. But like with the jab, I know it is literally half a second, you really do barely feel it. Yeah,
but you sitting there waiting for it, it's just...
The nurses are more than accommodating, they're brilliant and everything, but it's the weight, it's the, you know, it's like, oh shit, here it goes, you're overthinking it, and then it's over, and you're like... And then, but I sort of like it in a way, because I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking legend. I did the jab, I was actually thinking the other day, shit, is this what it's like to like get addicted to like hard drugs?
No,
like, imagine if you like hate needles, you do heroin for the person.
Should be very proud of yourself.
Yes, I did it.
I did it.
Yes.
No, that's pain, right?
I would be so high.
When I had my chronic toothache, I was generally enjoying being looked after by people, right? And now that's gone, and people just like get on with it again now.
Do you want to be looked after?
I'm like,
Aron.
I don't want the pain back, but there's part of me that's like, oh, that was alright that period of pain, like, but it was awful.
Like
so
you can get away with like saying, oh, Mum, can you get me a glass of water? And she'd get you it.
I had people on split shifts getting me food. It was good.
I had pneumonia, to be fair, and like a couple of years ago, and my mum and dad's like wedding anniversary as well, and they're like, oh, we can't go away if you're ill. I was like, no, go away. I loved it. I loved being ill that time, because I couldn't like really be bothered to really move about, so I'd use all my energy getting like loads of snacks and food, and I'd sit down in the living room and I'd just watch. And I'd just lay there for the next like 2 days watching someone.
I'm watching, I'm starting to think we're almost happiest doing fuck all.
Oh yeah.
No,
I am.
What's really worrying me about like trying to find a job at the moment is that I do want a job because of course I want to save up and do other shit. But it's like the other day I handed in my CV to a local shop. So like I like it's different when you're applying online. You just say and you just hope you hear some emails. But when you hand it in, it's like I'm walking around like feeling a bit like cool. I did it. Then you get back and it's like, oh shit, but I actually have to work. Like I have to interact and learn.
That's what I mean.
Get into a routine. Like I know once I get in my routine, I feel.
Oh, you sound but it's just the initial, isn't it?
I remember like even though I didn't like my old job, the routine was healthy. To wake up at a certain time, feel tired in the evening to actually go to sleep. Like you eat at certain times. Like it's healthy to have a routine. It's what I've been telling Jazz like for ages didn't like routines, but like when I told him. No, once you actually get a sleeping pattern, it's pretty fucking good.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. So like, when I'm trying to find jobs now, I'm like, I know I want the job, I need the job, I can't like not have a job, so I don't want to be bumming around like forever. But I'm like, shit, like, getting that anxiety, like, oh, what if they call me and say you got the job? I'm like, oh, Nah, do it. Can I just get paid?
No,
To be honest, that phone call would be probably the worst part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Picking
like
up like
it's
unknown
like
number or whatever.
Yeah, like my mum gave me that fear. Like, I used to love like picking up the phone. Like,
yeah, same. And
like, oh,
Who is it
Sophia.
today?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, mum, it's for you. And then she started saying, oh, don't answer the phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then now I hate it.
Yeah.
I never
Even if
answer
it's
the
you.
phone ever.
This morning when
No,
you
but I wouldn't talk to you. I wouldn't talk to you.
It's just drop calling to let you know that we're outside.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Yeah, even though like this podcast, I'm really into it. I really want to do it, and it's happened. There's still a part where it's like it's so much work.
Yeah.
Like even just getting out this morning, like we were being lazy, weren't we? We pushed it right to the last minute. Like it's just
Just keeping it all clear.
it's just like, but no, this is the thing as well. And I know, like obviously when I have like different guests, and I don't really know them, but everybody in this room, I know you're like quite new, but like it's like a pleasure to be around all you guys.
Oh, very sweet.
But there's the weird thing. But even though I know it's gonna go fine,
having talks with you in the car, like, oh yeah, I hate it when they say it's
even though I know that's true,
He does actually.
like I still have a fear that it's gonna go completely wrong.
No,
I
yeah,
don't know what
totally.
that is. It's like I live with you, right? But I still think, what if she comes back and hates this, or like, you know what I mean?
Me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be revealing that. You can't be weak, Aaron. No insecurities, no nothing.
Anxiety, innit?
Yeah, which the next point is like,
I've got to go and put more time in the car. It's been 3 hours, mate.
alright. Well, we've got to be out at 1 anyway.
Well,
Yeah, I said to the people that we'll be out by 1.
we should risk it for...
Risk of 20 minutes. I maybe say no just because like
Yeah.
it's quite strict.
Alright,
Knowing our luck.
You're gonna go out then?
yeah. I just got to finish this part
I'll
first.
sit in that chair and...
You got my card, haven't you?
I have
Put
actually.
it all.
We're nearly finished anyway.
No.
Right, so the next one is like people wanting like you to be messed up.
I can understand that, to be fair.
And the reason why I've noticed a lot at the moment is like I'll say something to somebody. So like something like if something really bad happens in my life, I'll tell them. This has happened to me. I can't come out because of this. And then the next week, they like seem to think like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Although I've even had people saying to me like, "Oh, you must be like really depressed at the moment," and it's like, well, it's like not really, no. I mean, I'm definitely going through something, but like, I think people just want you to be down. Not everybody.
I think like one, I think some people see other people in a lesser or like like a dire situation. That makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Like obviously sometimes, even if you walk past a homeless person, you'll have that weird thing in the back of your head going, at least that's not me.
Yeah.
You weirdly compare it to that. But I think nowadays, more so, I think through shows like reality shows, to be fair, I think it's conditioned people in this weird way, where it's like they strangely like fetishize. I can't say the word. I can't say it. Fetishize. I can't say it, but like people with problems, because like even though like there's not a massive push for like mental health, which there kind of is, to go against the point I've just said.
It's like the tortured artist.
Yeah, like
romanticize, solo artists, like finding. Well, we probably don't actually really like it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
But like I think like the people see like people with problems, and there's a lot of people that are like want to be, I don't know, Prince Charmings. You know what I mean? They want to come in and save the princess from the tower. They themselves are then getting something out of it. As opposed to just helping someone.
Have you ever come across like, you say your problem to someone, and then they're like, oh, just do this.
Yeah, just do this, that, and the other, and it's like, yeah, but you don't.
I'm telling you just to tell you because you're asked, or I'm feeling like vulnerable to tell you. I'm not asking so you can fix it because
Yeah. I always say like, for example, I'll not say exactly like, but like a friend comes to me with like a problem or something's changed in their life or whatever. I'll be like, look, I can only give you my opinion. I'll tell you my opinion. I'll tell you my 2 cents on it. But I can suggest something. But then again, it's always down to you whether you think that's the right thing to do or whatever.
Say, well, at the end of the day, look, I know you might not want me to
Yeah.
give you advice, but here is.
I always think saying it and doing it in that way as well as helps that person in a strange way as well.
Realise what's going on.
Because you're not forcing them to do it, and you're not coming across as if even though again you might tell someone your problem and then it
becomes so condescending.
That's what I was trying to say.
Thought about doing that, and it's
but then it's your situation doesn't apply to that, does it? It could be happening a different way, and then maybe you've left certain bits of it out as well, because there's always certain things you don't want to go into too much.
The biggest one throughout my whole life has always been trying to fix my weight problem.
Yeah.
I'm always so thin.
Yeah, to be fair.
I don't know if you remember this, but I mentioned it in college once. I hate being I just said it as an off comment because it was sort of bugging me.
Yeah.
To who?
Yeah. It wasn't you, but you were there.
I mean, you say it's the class.
Yeah, I was just saying I think I did sort of set myself up a little bit for some kind of comment.
Yeah.
But I did say something to be honest, God, I wish I could eat normally or whatever.
Yeah.
And then one of the girls in the class were like, "Oh, have you ever thought about just eating whatever you wanted and just eating one?" It's gee.
It's that's never crossed my mind.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
It's not the issue of eating what I want. It's just eating.
Yeah.
I think that also comes to overthinking though, because I think some people do care, but I think because in my head, I want somebody to tell me what I'm thinking. Whatever I've diagnosed with, I'm I know what's wrong with me, but I want you to acknowledge it. But when they give you some bullshit answer, you sort of downgrade them.
Or something completely different to the way you were thinking about it.
At the end of the day, it's not great to have a bunch of people go, "Oh, that's horrible." You don't want to say, "Oh, your life's horrible." Even though that does sometimes feel good when you say a problem and "Oh, that sucks." You just want that.
That recognition of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that does suck, isn't it? So you're not crazy and it's "Oh, first world problem, mate." It's "Oh fuck." "Oh, you don't eat enough." Ooh, it's "Fuck, don't say." Just adding on to the piles of more guilt I have about not eating enough food and wasting it. Christ.
I know, that's what I mean. Some people just feel, I think, as if they could just fix everyone's problems. It's everyone suddenly becomes an expert on you yourself, and it's you're not me though. You don't fully get how it is.
I mean, I bet to be fair, I think it's fair to say that women probably even have that worse. When it comes down to men anyway, it's so many women or whatever I've spoken to, I've learned not to try and fix the issue they're talking about. But they just want someone to listen, don't they?
Yeah, they just want a dialogue, don't they? Just a little chat about it.
A mate just started talking and she's been "Oh, I've had all this shit going on," and it's you just need to say, "Oh, well, cool, I'm here if you need me."
Yeah.
Rather than being "Oh, well, you should do this to fix that," and it's well, that's the last thing they want.
Yeah.
And I sort of get
Well, I agree, but I do think there is sound advice.
Yeah.
I've took a lot of advice from people even to be fair.
It's got to be the right people though. That's a factor.
I've had people just tell me just do some traveling, it will change your outlook. And at first I thought, well, how's it going to change my outlook? And then when I actually did it, it did. And now that person to me who said that is I trust them a bit more.
Yeah.
So I think they're right. So I think there's a lot of sound advice out there. I think it's just you have to decipher which person isn't.
Yeah.
And it's how it's communicated as well, isn't it?
Eternal things are worse for me. Peter knows if somebody just says something to me eternal, it's a little condescending.
Yeah.
Or it's a little
Yeah, I've noticed this a lot. Sometimes someone would give you what would be decent advice, but the way to say it, I see you fuck you, you're actually in a worse mood because of suggestions.
Yeah. It happens a lot to me. Like I never try to assume anything about anybody.
Yeah.
Like I don't want people to do that about me. Like I have people like, well, one of Sophia's friends were like, oh, you're definitely not into rap. And it really pissed me off because I was like, well, why wouldn't I be into rap?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then it turns out like I was a bigger fan than her. Like like we looked at each other's Spotify list and she's like, all right,
yeah, like I would be just as annoyed because it, like the way like someone would say it, it's like, oh, I found something you don't quite understand, and it's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. And like we actually go to the next thing. Like I feel like I know quite a lot of shit, right? But I would never bury anybody information.
No.
Like I feel like I'm, you know, quite smart. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
Because the more this is more emotional intelligence. The more you know about how things work, the bigger burden it is. Because you're walking around and you see something happen, which is the gut feeling again, and you're like, I know how to change that situation.
Yeah.
But you know nobody's going to listen to you.
Or get offended.
Or get offended. And so I think it is sort of a curse to have any... Like, I can spot things coming up in my personal life. Like, I can see people's plays, like, really well. I know when somebody's... Obviously, I've been manipulated bad. But I know when somebody's... I know what they're doing. And, like... And what's interesting about that, though, because I know what people are doing, I think, is that because I would do it myself? But it's not. I think it's just because I just... I've been around these people a long time. It's like some of my old friends, like, I know the games they play. So when they start doing something to try and gain something, I just try and avoid.
Yeah, because you can see it a mile off.
But the worst thing is, they start doing it to other people who don't see that.
Yeah.
And I want to jump in and try and help them, but then you don't want to be that person who's just like trying to control the whole scene.
Because then weirdly you're then pointing that out about them, aren't you? In a strange way.
Yeah, it's like I obviously I want people to work out their own thing about people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's like, because we got so good access to the internet now.
Yeah.
Like we just indulge
Everything's
so
at
much
a click
stuff.
of a button, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is what sort of well, I know it's very dramatic to say keeps me up at night, but like I do like have these horrible thoughts of just how, I mean, we are fucked. Like I know it's like very like our generation. Oh, we're screwed.
Yeah.
No, but we are.
I know, but it is a bit of it, like it's a Reddit meme to say, like, oh, I know we're fucked, because like I do want to have some kind of hope. But what I think about the past year or two, just thinking about all the logistics of it, it's like we're in a society. Again, I'm using the big S word. Get what you fucking use that.
Yeah.
But like, this is an international issue where it's like we're in such a crazy world now where we can get Amazon next day delivery. Some places have it same day.
Yeah.
Same day delivery.
I got same day yesterday on some headphones.
Like
Mad.
shit like that, or like we can buy like gourmet level meals for like a fraction of the price because those companies selling those have screwed over some farmers and exploiting people or destroying the environment because it's cheaper. And it's like, how are we actually going to change that now? Like, because like we depend on that shit to live.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, I shouldn't have this camera. We shouldn't be using any electricity right now. We shouldn't have travelled out today. You know, we shouldn't be wearing all this type of clothing or eating McDonald's.
Having mad drip.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have all this shit so easy for such affordable price. It's like, I keep thinking about something as simple as like a steak. You can go down to a shop and buy a steak for like £4 for something decent. When realistically, any other point in history, that would be like a luxurious thing.
Literally,
like, you'd spend hours and hours
like,
raising the cow, raising it, preparing it, and you wouldn't even get it like in a city over.
In our parents' generation, a steak was like a thing you had like every Friday. It was like it was like a big deal.
And they'd like have to like tenderize it to shit. Like I remember still like growing up and like hearing mum bang steaks and chicken breasts that were really fucking rock solid. For like an hour to get it edible. Like, I remember it used to be so annoying because like, after a while, it's like, oh mum, I'm trying to, you know, do homework or whatever. I can't listen because like you're banging the mallet for like an hour. Like that's gone. And like we can order like shit halfway across the world that we will have no right to really have. Like something simple, like again, it sounds like edgy and trivial because like it sounds like a Reddit post that I've read a million times, but it is true. Like pineapples and like mangoes and exotic fruit. We're an island that we shouldn't have access to this shit, but someone's decided for like 50p or a pound in like Sainsbury's, they've flown it over from like India, from like a farmer. It's like, imagine how much shit and resources gone into just flying it over. That should cost like hundreds of pounds realistically, if you think about it. But because we're in a society and in a world where corporate development has come so far where they can screw people over, destroy the environment, and it's nothing because they're making it.
Well, we don't give a shit, do we? We see mangoes in bags, plastic bags, and we think that's it.
Pre-cut.
Like we don't ever think where anything ever comes from.
See, it's like strangely as well now. You couldn't revert from it either now. Exactly. You just can't revert from it.
That's what worries. Like it's all right saying, "Oh, we'll go vegan."
But then what are you going to do with all these thousands of cows that are now going to be out and about all over the place?
Like it's done.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to go vegan, and then I realised I was so selfish.
Yeah.
I put myself on blast. But the thought of not having a proper burger, I was just like, I can't do that.
No.
And I think veganism, I think is like a great thing.
Yeah.
I agree with it completely. I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
But I just can't.
Exactly, and it's fucked us up because like, how are we actually going to revert? Like a country like ours, like we can't like revert from it because we depend on all this shit.
All of it. Yeah.
Like imagine like because there are countries in the world that are very fortunate to have everything like pretty much locked down within their own country. They can export it. I know like the Netherlands are pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their shit, like reclaim land and stuff, gone into farming. They can depend on their own stock and stuff, and they just sell whatever they don't want or need. Like do you know the top of Scotland, like the Orkney Islands? They're actually producing too much wind power and shit to the point where it actually is a problem for them because they can't export it.
Yeah.
And it's actually degrading their batteries faster. So they're
Wow.
like, well, we're in a country, part of the world where we depend on it because it's so easy because of course it's windy as fuck up there. But like, you look at us, like we need these fucked up places in the world to depend on. Cause
well, we get shocked at things. It's like the Seaspiracy documentary.
Yeah.
Me and Peter both got shocked by it and we was like, let's do something about it, but we never did.
And it's so, it feels awful because it's like, how are we going to change? Again, like, as a mentality, we probably could change it, but like, there's so many forces and money against it.
Yeah, it's the whole, again, the structure of it, isn't it? Like,
and like, existence is almost become guilty.
And
like, there's so much guilt about existence, like, like what a luxury, like we can just come here and like do a podcast and someone can paint. Like,
well, that's what I mean, like a 16-year-old me will be so happy I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
But then when I'm actually doing it, I'm just like in the middle. Like I'm obviously happy to be here, but it's like I know a younger me would be so excited about this, but when I'm actually doing it, I'm not as excited. I take it for granted. Yeah.
But like it's like all these paintings, like they're great, and I think art is it's more than just like a luxury. Like I think culturally it's integral to humanity and how we live.
Expression in it and
but
stuff.
But at the end of the day, like you go to a part of the world, or even part of this same country where they don't do art because we've got real shit to do.
Yeah, because everyone's too busy living.
Yeah, if you go to like one of those like
life,
places in Russia where it's like it's just like the worst place to live. It's like freezing cold. They can't get out.
Have you heard the documentary where it's like they keep their cars running constantly because if they stop them, they'll freeze up and can't use them.
Yeah.
Like how insane is that? They've got to burn the engines all the time when they're sleeping. Because
that's why I think, you know, like when you see like an old man who's been through the World War II, I always think he's so content in life. Like you never see like a war veteran mad at anything.
Complaining about getting McDonald's too late.
No.
Because they've gone through a war.
Yeah, they've fought for that, haven't they? Like literally, like
they survived like the shit. Like we've gone through it all, and then we're here like. Oh, my Gucci bag is running late.
But I think it's
the
like
stitching's wrong on it.
Yeah, that's not us. That's not us.
That's not us, but
but
our mentality is like as a world now. Like, we want it fast, we want it now, we want it cheap and affordable without having to worry about who's making it, whose children's fingers are being cut
Yeah.
off because they didn't sew the fucking shirt properly.
Faster.
You know what I mean? It's fucked.
It's mental.
It's too late. It's like the Amazon. You can't look at that place and like feel how awful it is because they're destroying the Amazon for cattle.
Yeah.
But what, of course, like people have come out and said, well, in 2 generations that soil is gone because that soil is not meant for that. It's meant for the canopies and the trees.
Yeah.
But who are we to judge?
Well, this
They're just trying to make a living.
this is what I'm talking about, right? Because we know too much. Like, us three, I think we indulge in this information and we have to carry it. A lot of people aren't thinking this now. A lot of people are just getting on with it and they're not seeing the bigger picture. But we have to take that burden and we have to like live with like. I think that's why we're here now, because I think we've all had lives where it's like we don't really want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Let's try and do.
Let's just put on the record that we're not these bad people.
Well, no, it is, isn't it? It's like that's why people do things.
But I'm still gonna get a KFC.
After you want to go quick and buy some cheap food, that shouldn't actually be a
Shipped in from Mongolia.
Yeah.
We're nearly at the finish line, and we're going to end it on such a down note.
But like
We're all gonna die.
it's kept me up at night not to be so dramatic, but like I'm just thinking that's like how is it actually really going to change? Like, I can't stop it because
Yeah.
I rely on this as well.
Yeah, it's like I always think about it in the sense of it's like I've always wanted like kids, but it's like would I actually want to bring them up in
Same.
this world? Do you know what I mean?
No, I'd never wanted kids, but now I do. But now I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because, like, A, I think it's cruel because of how the world's heading, and B, I'm not going to lie, it's a big responsibility.
It really
And
is.
it's like,
Yeah.
can I do that?
The way the world's heading, if it wasn't heading the way it was, I think I probably would be 100% like, yeah, I'll do that at some point in time. But now I'm a bit like, I don't know if I actually do want to do that because, one, with like all, like, you know, the social commentary around the world nowadays, and then there's all the political landscape as well, and then there's just the people that actually live within it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's really worth bringing someone up in.
It's getting dangerous, isn't it?
Plus, I would never want my kid to turn out to be one of those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only hope I have for that kind of thing is if I was to meet someone and say, oh, let's have a kid or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, without like being that like a borderline abusive kind of parent that like teaches their kid not to like go to school.
Yeah.
Go to school. Do you know that extreme? You see it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
don't eat processed foods.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it gets to extreme. It's borderline abusive.
But it's
you know.
a
But
you know.
I would think that if I was to have a kid, I'd be able to actually teach them way better than that. I'm not dissing my own parents because
Yeah.
I have a good childhood. I am who I am now, thanks to them. Like,
Yeah.
I still turned out like with this knowledge. But I think, damn, I would actually raise a pretty good.
But
Same. That's what I mean.
But that's the mistake of the last generation as well, because every generation thinks like I can.
Yeah.
I can do it better. No, I think us three could. Like, cause I think I could actually would be quite good at it. But
Well, to be fair, in that sense, you've got your grandparents, your parents, and then you, and then your potential children. Grandparents probably grew up and lived in a time where they're eating frigging turnips every day. Do you know what I mean? Because there's naff all, and then you know potentially wars intervene by all that, and then they're like, I'm gonna give my kids a better life than me, and then they grow up, and then you know instead of eating turnips every day, they're only having it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then it comes to you and they're like, oh, we're not eating turnips at all, we're having steak every day. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Every time it'll be where the one's thinking, yeah. Yeah.
Like, because like you said, a couple of generations ago, pretty well adjusted, they didn't take things for granted.
Yeah.
what happens?
Got locked out, didn't I?
It's a shame because
How's
like,
he getting?
it's
Some
good
guys
that
coming
that's
in.
happened now.
Yeah.
But then our parents were like, well, we had a pretty good life. Fucking everything's booming.
Yeah.
Economy's booming, baby. Oil business. Fucking years into the next generation of internet and all this shit.
Yeah.
And now we're like, well,
But now the internet's something else in it to be
Yeah.
bringing people up with.
and
Yeah.
now it's sort of a terrifying responsibility to like, try and
Because anything's just, and then, you know what I mean, someone's getting their head cut off.
yeah.
You know, it's ruthless.
came in right time.
Yeah, but
Seems like it.
but I'm addicted at the moment to like watching on YouTube, just watching the most horrific stuff. Like the top 10 worst serial killers. And I get
Coffee House Crime.
I get so excited to watch it.
I keep getting stuff for that. I watch loads of stuff on that, or it's Reddit scary stories where someone's narrating it. You know,
all the classic stories where like serial killers have actually posted their IPs and shit on Reddit, and it's true stories. Have you watched? There's a YouTube channel who actually just went last night. I think he uploaded a really cool video called "Let Me Know" or something. Let Me Know or something. I'll have to
I don't know. Maybe.
But he does all these really fucking high quality videos on like.
Do you do stuff on games?
I think he does. Yeah, I think he has. He's done like really like animated, and he's like.
I think I do know what you mean. Yeah.
And he just really.
Has he done one on Dark Souls? Because if he has, then that's where I've seen it. I think.
He might have. I think it's like earlier he did a lot of games.
Yeah.
But last night he did a cool. Like, of course we've all heard it because we're in the UK, but he did like a deep dive into the Jack the Ripper shit. And like I love that. Like all the cool gruesome details and talking about like all the potential witnesses and how fucked FN was. And it's like, damn, this is cool. And he's doing all these like there's this one story of like a group of mates in I think it's like rural Canada or something. And the last time they were seen, they were walking into the snow in the woods, going in the middle of nowhere. And then in the upcoming months, people kept finding their bodies scattered all miles difference across the woods, and they don't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And it's all these crazy like theories. I think I sent you one video guy he's called Blame on Jorge or whatever, and he did this expose on this huge ring of American tough love camps. Do you know where they send like troubled kids to?
Yeah.
What, they're fucking killing kids?
Punishment parts.
But they're like straight like abusing kids to the point of like, PTSD levels. Like,
oh shit.
Like it's crazy shit. Like I love those kind of videos. Like I can stay up all night watching them.
I do. Check my YouTube history. That's what I did last night.
It's tough though because like you see all of the best ones and like, ooh, I need one that's even more fun.
I know. Well, there's that strange fashion. I can't speak today. Fascination, yeah. With like you were on about with danger and stuff like that, and what's more dangerous than someone freaking ripping someone's entrails out?
Well, the weird thing is, I would actually want to speak to those people. I'd love to go to a jail.
It'd be interesting, I think.
Exactly.
But do you think it's because of like, you know how that woman from North Korea was talking about how she just see dead bodies all the time? It's just part of life. But maybe we
don't see it as
like
morbid fascination.
We're like missing something. It's like part of the experience of life
Probably.
to see like things that are horrible.
Yeah. Well,
so if we live in this cushy life, we like need to go and look at stuff that's horrible.
That's a good point because like we're probably one of those generations, parts of the world where the first time in history that's not like a common thing because like you hear about the Jack the Ripper stuff. Like I was telling you in the video, he says like how in London. In the East End, of course, it was particularly rough back then. But like, the reason why no one really investigated it properly or caught a good glimpse of people, is like people were always screaming murder, murder in the streets, and it just happened. So it was like a boy who cried wolf story. Yeah. But now, for us, it's like, well, we never see that shit, so we want to seek it out. But really, it's pretty fucked.
Like if animals like see another dead animal, they're not like losing their shit. They're just like, oh, that smells a bit different. Okay, so carry on with my day.
Well, it's like when I walked to yours to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I saw
classic day.
Very cute.
It was quite shocking.
But by the way, this is like 2 months ago. It's not like it's not like
not when you were 10 years old.
Although I want to do it again. It's pretty sick, bro.
You best hurry up because it's summer night, so pull it in.
But what was I going to say? I was walking towards Mizzen and I saw something really fucked up and morbid, particularly. That was like a dead cat. And it was like, it was late stages. It was sort of a skeleton and you could see it's like, it was like, I was like, fuck. I was like, the immediate thing I did was tell Aron because I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Like, it shouldn't be that interesting. and everything.
Yeah.
But of course we just.
But it like is though, isn't it? Like to be fair, when I were at uni, when we were having this weird heat wave, I went on a walk, and on the walk, I mean it's disgusting. Like it must have not died that long ago, but it had been in the sun. But all of its mouth had like melted, so all of its gums were like melted ice lolly, and its like teeth were like on the floor next to it, and it would disgusting. Like, but you don't see that though, do you?
Yeah.
And you see that, and you're like, wow, but in a bad way. Like, I think everyone's got a morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
I think, just to varying levels, because obviously that's, people I think love things that are unanswerable. It's more, like again with Jack the Ripper.
Well, the background story
Oh shit.
Is it a bomb?
Big one.
Hot potato?
The last bit can be.
I didn't actually top up the car because it was it didn't go off until 6 minutes past. So
we get off.
time's on your phone because mine's fast. Shit. Shall I go and move it around or something?
You want what?
Move it around. Like just move it out of the car park and wait
Yeah,
for
just
the outside.
no, go sit in it. Somebody comes, just move it.
get out and do a Karen move and your phone say, I know my rights. I know my rights.
I know. Again, like, stop asking me to do fucking shifts at work. I'm not doing shifts at work now. I'm going to in uni.
Like, they want you to
Screw
do
that.
That's why, like, you should never be nice on your first day at work, because then it's what you do anything.
Fucking honestly.
Or we ended there.
Yeah.
Oh, can't get out of that. So.
I'll give you that.